Broadcasting to you live from the Orion spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America, somewhere outside of Tehran, Iran. My name is Brian Engelman. Today is Monday, March 2nd, 2026, and this thing right here that you are watching is called the TNAM Daily Show. TNAM stands for the new American media, because the old American media, well, they've failed you. Had such a nice comment yesterday on our Facebook page. Let me read this real quick. It reads, Brian, I don't know how you do it. I ignore all news outlets, by and large, due to the nonsense and half stories, the blitz of oppressive ads and bullshit too. You always find the most interesting issues and news in a tight format. I'd say your report is my go-to. Thanks. That's awesome. I really appreciate that. It's good to know that the work that we deliver and that we've created for you over the past 15 years is in fact valuable. Thank you. It's also my pleasure. I have to do it. You watch these videos of people going out into their local communities and cleaning up street corners and where the trash accumulates, or an overgrown house. They bring their hedge trimmers and weed whackers and they clean things up. I actually have a spot not too far from me that has been bugging me for years. I even called the city. I'm like, hey, where are your street sweepers? What's going on with this intersection? Nah, no love, no help. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to sweep all these rocks and pick up the debris and the hubcaps and the trash. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to wait till it's late at night. I'm going to go do it. And I'm going to make things a little bit better. I would theoretically be delivering the news to you regardless, because I don't like being lied to. I don't like the propaganda. I don't like the demons trying to take us astray. I really despise that. But to be fair, I wouldn't dedicate this much time to it, because I'd be working 9-10 hours a day, like most people do. But I do consider this my job, and I do consider you to be family, and I do consider all of you to be friends, colleagues. You share stories with me on X at American_media_. Make sure you're following us on X. Thank you to we put a link out to follow us on Instagram, the New American Media. We're this close to being able to go live. We have like 15. I don't know the number exactly. We're really close to being able to activate going live, and then we can take this show to Instagram. And I guess we're going to try to do it on TikTok. But yeah, I just wanted to shout out those kind words. It means a lot. It's nice to know that what you're doing matters. And, it's a labor of love, but it is work. And so instead of doing an ad read for coffee or survival foods or solar panels, which we might do at some point down the road, let me just put this on the screen to remind you that we are fully crowdfunded at this point. Thank you. It's a new month to everybody who's a monthly subscriber on Patreon. We appreciate you. And if you haven't linked up with us on Patreon for the paid subscriptions, usually $10 a month, $5 a post. We usually post twice a month. There's a free version. At least sign up for the free version if you haven't signed up to become a full sponsor. You can do $10 a month, $100 a month, $1,000 a month. So we appreciate everyone over there. You can do subscriptions on Rumble and YouTube. I think that's $5 a month. I think there might be options there. And that just automatically kicks over, because when we get our business expenses, and by the way, we're 13 days away from having to file our corporate taxes again. That's an $800 filing on top of the $470 it takes to get the Restream app so that I can deliver you this show each month. Once again, it's a little too much to tell you about how the sausage is made, but regardless, there are overhead operating expenses. That's just to break even, not to become a fully funded, functional company that can provide for mortgage and food and insurance and insurance and insurance and insurance and insurance and insurance and gas, electricity, all of that jazz. But there is the option on Rumble and YouTube to become a monthly subscriber. And of course, the people like you out there, you love to drop Rumble rants and super chats. That is fantastic. That has allowed us the ability to remonetize our YouTube page for the first time in 5 years. So thank you. This is just a big thank you for everybody who's continuing to support our efforts over here at the New American Media. 3 more places, Venmo and Cash App donations. It's just my name, Brian Engelman, and then PayPal is fuzzinstallment@yahoo.com. All scrolling at the bottom of the screen if you'd like to participate. Of course, we're here today to talk about Iran, so far away, couldn't get away. Please check out yesterday's program. Let me see if I can pull it up. I can, of course. Let's go to the YouTube link and I will share.
Combine your credit.
But I don't want to talk about Mario Lopez. Thank you very much. But it is nice to know that we are monetized. But this was our program yesterday. This was a 3-person panel discussing the bombing of Iran. Mahmoud Ghaffari was born in Iran and he fled Iran. It was an 18-year-old. And I've known him for 20 years or so. And we discussed the comings and goings. People of Iran are just over the moon that this tyrannical, violent, demonic, as he was often referred to during yesterday's program, this Khomeini person is gone, eliminated, along with the other guy. What was the mouthpiece's name? Ahmadinejad. You know, this is huge what has happened. And you got more than 80%, 8 in 10 of the people, like they're not an Islamic nation. They don't want to live like this. They don't want to be oppressed. They don't want to live under the thumb of tyranny. Check out yesterday's program. Man, oh man, certain shows have more technical glitches than others. And you have to wonder how much the deep state plays a role in messing with our feed. It's been an ongoing issue for the past month, but we fought through it. We were able to get a lot of insight there, along with Pastor Bruce Engelman. That is my father's brother. He's been a longtime contributor to the program. I don't know how many times he's been on the show, but he's been on throughout the past 15 years occasionally. And so we did a bit of a deep dive into what it's like. And what it's like is the people are happy. Now, this isn't just one day and done like Venezuela. And it's not going to be without American blood and treasure. And some people say, President Trump, this is not what we voted for. We're not supposed to get involved in foreign entanglements. You voted for a commander in chief. And President Trump has inherited a situation where for the past 70 years, we can go back to, where do we want to go? 80 years? We want to go back to World War II. We want to go back to 73 off the gold standard. We want to go back to 79 when the Iranian takeover took over. How about 1913 with the Federal Reserve and the income tax, the deep state as we know it in its modern terms, 1948, the creation of Israel. There's a lot of points you could jump back to, but it sure seemed like, Republican or Democrat, the bad guys were taking footholds all across this planet. That totalitarian puppets, brutal regimes were manifesting themselves and stealing the loot, stealing the treasure, stealing the resources, and oppressing and destroying the will of humans. Really demonic energy, vultures, vampires, ticks, leeches. Yes, use every pejorative you can think of. Banksters. Oh yeah, banksters. They just put on a tie and do it. And so, by the way, what's next? Look at Cuba. President came out and said it looks like they might have I forget how he said it, a friendly takeover. They're in negotiations, they're in talks, like they're crumbling, they're falling. That anywhere they try communism, anywhere they try Islamism, look, man, it fails and it succeeds at spreading misery. And so President Trump, as commander in chief, as voted on, as given the powers in the 1973 War Powers Act, he acted. He acted in Venezuela. And by the way, keep your eyes peeled on Venezuela. See if Maduro starts singing about election rigging systems. I don't know. There's a lot of rumbling on those train tracks. Maybe there are national security implications after all. Time will tell. And I think I'm going to ask a lot of people who are getting a little too fired up one way or the other. Time will tell. There's that proverb that I've told you about before. Jamie, pull this up for me. The Chinese proverb that I just typed on the screen. See if you can get that up and going. By the way, hit like, hit subscribe, smash the thumbs up button. Remember that we do have Rumble rants and super chats. If you'd like to throw a tip in the tip jar, I'm your fantastic bartender hanging out here. You're looking at my, I'm not at the bar. I guess maybe I could go to the bar. Let me go to the sports bar, change the virtual background. I tried to be a little bit more official for yesterday's program. Let's get back to my natural environment. We're going to discuss all the things on the television screens behind us. Thank you so much. All right. This is a parable. The story of the Chinese farmer dates back over 2,000 years. It reflects the Taoist philosophy on the unpredictability of fortune. So here's the short parable version. A farmer's horse runs away, and the neighbors say, "What bad luck?" Farmer replies, "Maybe so, maybe not." The horse returns with several wild horses. The neighbors exclaim, "What good luck?" Farmer says, "Maybe so, maybe not." The farmer's son breaks a leg riding one of these horses, and the neighbors say, "Oh, what bad luck." Farmer replies, "You guessed it, maybe so, maybe not." The army comes to conscript young men for war, but the son is spared due to this injury. The neighbors say, "What good luck?" Farmer says, "Maybe so, maybe not." The moral: events seem like good or bad luck. Events that seem like good or bad luck can flip in meaning over time. Don't rush to judge, maybe so, maybe not, because the full consequences are unknown. So with all of this Iranian hullabaloo, rigmarole, those are the only old-timey vernacular terms I can muster up at this moment. Hullabaloo and rigmarole. What was the thing I wrote down? Cornucopia. I wrote something down. It was cornucopia kaleidoscope. You know what? I'm going to write down hullabaloo rigmarole. I just like when certain phrases. Let's see. Hullabaloo rigmarole. Yeah, that might be a new song that I'll put out. Stay tuned for music. Anyway, maybe so, maybe not. We'll see how this pans out. The president does have authority under the War Powers Act to do certain things. He has been elected the commander-in-chief, the leader of the Army, the Navy, Space Force, all the things. And you look at the amount of terror that Iran has unleashed on this planet, the misery and suffering that they've caused, good riddance to bad rubbish. Now, that's different from saying we need to put boots on the ground and we want to be locked into some forever war, right? I don't think anybody wants that. So we shall see. Maybe so, maybe not. But we appreciate you being here today to unpack it. But please check out yesterday's program. It's on X, it's on Rumble, it's on YouTube. A three-panel conversation, a deep dive, 2-hour deep dive into Iran. And ask around, find the Iranians around you and find out if they're happy that this son of a bitch, this demon is in the ground. You're going to be hard-pressed to find people upset that this guy's gone. Now, what comes in the power vacuum? Maybe something good, maybe not. Maybe so, maybe not. Will it be good? Maybe so, maybe not. Will it be bad? Maybe so, maybe not. But to a lot of people, it feels like this is the first time we've had a real American president since maybe JFK. I mean, Reagan was good. Just after Reagan, it got weird with Daddy Bush and the CIA and Clinton's globalist entanglements and pay-for-play influence and leading into Hillary and Uranium One and trying to create rogue nation states that are nuclear armed to really handicap a whole bunch of stability. And essentially the Obama doctrine of devaluing and destroying the things that make America valuable and successful, because we've had it too good for too long. And we're only successful because, you didn't build that. A lot of people say, they built the company. And look, I got to tell them, you didn't build that. I'm a Marxist. And, who built those bridges? Who built those roads? You got to give to the moochers. The moochers got to have theirs. And so, you've had it too good for too long. And, we're going to take you down a few pegs. And, we're going to flood this nation, definitely, especially during my third term with Joe Biden, Sleepy Joe. Look, 40 million illegal alien invaders. The rest of the globe needs to come in here. It's been too good for too long. Let's fuck it up a little bit. Make it, kind of. Let's put them on. Let them take your tax dollars. Because you didn't earn that. It was built on the backs of the Chinese building the railroads and the slaves back 300 years ago. So anybody here, you got to pay. I'm the judge and jury and executioner. So we're gonna remember, I'm just 5 days away from fundamentally transforming the United States of America into a Marxist, communist, totalitarian hellscape. Yeah. Hey, welcome, Super Bear. Sorry, he's late. He just got the notification. Well, that's good. You're joining us for the opening salvo. Super Bear is a new regular here. He sits. Where do you sit? Where's your seat at the bar, Super Bear? Which seat is yours? That'd be awesome to get a graphic. Hey, is John Boy in here in the comments? Or John? I don't know. He's got so many handles. Our TNAM meme team. It'd be awesome. I don't know. Do we have any pictures of people? I think what would be awesome is if we could show a bar, maybe not from this side because we just see the backs of their heads. It would be cool to get like a TNAM regulars graphic. And we could put like a picture of David, a picture of John, a picture of Marion and it'd be funny to like superimpose and like put them as regulars at the bar hanging out. I don't know, just an idea. It'd be pretty fun. Yeah, curious where you'd be sitting, Super Bear, but glad you're here joining us on Kick. Friendly reminder, we're in a whole bunch of places. Kick, DLive, what's the other one? Kick and Twitch in DLive. We're also on Telegram and Signal at TNAM and TNAM Chat. As I said, Instagram, X at American_media_ Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, etc. And soon to be, probably TikTok. I don't want to do it, but I guess I gotta. Anyway, we got a ton. Oh, Super Bear's under voting age. Check this out. So what are you? Are you Gen Alpha? Did you miss out on Gen Z? Are you Gen Alpha? This is great. We got from Gen Alpha to baby boomers, I'd imagine, right? I think this show caters to anybody with a brain. You don't have to be a certain particular age. And I challenge the things that I told you kind of yesterday. I would lean one way and I'll give you the counterpoint the next day. I'm very dogmatic insofar as when I feel like I'm onto something directionally accurate, I try to keep those core beliefs, but I want to hear what other people are saying. Because there's also some good ideas in the contrarian perspective. I might not agree with them, but I need to, we, the proverbial we need to understand that, the more we understand the objections to our philosophies, then maybe we can address them better. Maybe we can bring people in that weren't on the same page. They weren't feeling it. They had their reservations, and they're allowed to. By the way, watch Anthony Bourdain, No Reservations. Great series. Okay, confirmation. Super Bear is just barely Gen Alpha. I wonder who our oldest, I don't know who our oldest person is. But yeah, I got to say, we're between Gen Alpha and baby boomers. We're international with David. We're Canadian as well, regulars. We're expanding what we're doing here, but hopefully it's because you like what we're serving up here at this bar. You like the food, you like the drinks. Mainly you like the company too. You like the stuff that we're playing on the television screen. You like the other regulars in the chat room. That's what we're trying to build here. Something fun, something informative. And like we got on that fantastic comment. Let me read it again for Super Bear, just because I'm so I'm honored. I'm humbled. What do they say? It fills your love tank. People have love languages. What is it you can do to fill somebody up? Well, this filled me up. Just this comment that we got here. Let me read it to you from our page on Facebook, the New American Media page. Make sure you're all following the page on the New American Media. He said, Brian, I don't know how you do it. I ignore all news outlets and by and large due to this. Excuse me. Brian, I don't know how you do it. I ignore all news outlets by and large due to the nonsense and half stories, the blitz of oppressive ads, and bullshit too. You always find the most interesting issues and news in a tight format. I'd say your report is my go-to. Thanks. And thank you. So from Gen Alpha to baby boomers, from the United States up to Canada, all over the globe, thank you to everybody who's here. Hit the like button, share the show with your friends, and, Super Bear, everybody else, invite a couple of your friends. Click the share show link and text it. Send it out on X, send it out on Facebook. And be like, hey, we gather every day at noon talking about all the stuff going on. Join us. So there we are. Pretty cool thing. So without further delay, let's launch into the show because we got a lot to cover. And like I said, check out yesterday's special 2-hour roundtable with Mahmoud Ghaffari and my uncle, Pastor Bruce Engelman, discussing the political and religious overtones of the significance of the removal of that alleged supreme leader of that despotic, demonic regime that butchered roughly 35,000 that we know of in the past month or so, of the people who said, get the hell out of my country. You're not going to oppress me anymore. It's a good day because these people are gone. Now, of course, will it turn out good? Maybe so, maybe not. But there's a lot of celebration right now from people connected to that region, including Brother Mahmoud Ghaffari over there. Check out yesterday's program. So now that we've stretched out a bit, cracked our knuckles, settled in, grabbed ourselves a fancy favorite beverage. One final point before I launch I'll do the intro to the show and we'll get things going. On a day like this would theoretically be the perfect time to log in and listen to Scott Adams. I would love to hear what Scott Adams had to say about this. I would love to hear his perspective. And sadly, he's passed away. So before we begin, I would encourage you all to grab that beverage, whatever it looks like. Join me in an honorary simultaneous sip, because in that power vacuum of no Scott Adams, I'm going to try to do my best version of deciphering the news, being the raccoon that knocks over the trash can, rips the lid off, and you start sifting. You dig through bags. You go, oh, that's a bag of baby diapers. Yuck. Oh, look at this. Untouched inventory. Oh, vintage concert t-shirts. Oh, like the awesome stuff over here. I'm glad all of this didn't go to the trash. And I'm glad I looked. But sometimes you find baby diapers and all sorts of disgusting stuff, because that's what the news delivers on a daily basis. Disgusting stuff. Here at the New American Media, we rifle through the rubbish, separating fake news from fact, garbage from reality. We do our best. And if we're ever wrong about something, you tell us in the comments. We'll do our best to correct it. I don't have any agenda to sell you anything other than reality, a smart, wise way to decipher and filter what we're looking at. As Scott Adams would say, to reframe your brain, to reframe these issues. Try to find the smartest voices in the room with the best ideas, the best sound bites, the best questions, the best points. And so that we can move throughout our day and maybe be a little bit smarter because of it. So in honor of Scott Adams, who has trained me all those years, as I hope to train you, and we all teach and learn from each other. So it's not, nobody's better than anybody else, but Scott was one of the best. So on a day like today, when I really would have loved his perspective, I'll do my best to light my candle and keep that flame going for him. So grab your favorite beverage if you'd like to participate in the simultaneous sip. If you'd like to, all you need is a cup or a mug or a glass, a tankard, chalice or stein, a canteen, jug or flask, a vessel of any kind. Fill it with your favorite liquid. I like coffee. And join me now for the unparalleled pleasure, the dopamine hit of the day, the thing that makes everything better. It's called the simultaneous sip, and it happens now. Go. We miss you, Scott. We'll do our best. The TNAM Daily Show starts now.
your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.
All right, everybody, let's grab the chat and bring you up here. All right, Marion. Good morning, Marion, over there. Picking winners. Hanging Archer. All right, that's a good name. Yep, there's David. David says they're doing it to other people too. I think he's talking about the censorship. It seems like it depends on the topic of discussion. Have you noticed other people getting glitches in their connection, their connectivity? Now, one of the things that's happening in Iran right now is that the feed to various outlets have been hacked, and they're delivering the message, hey, you've been asking for help getting rid of these tyrants that are brutalizing your friends and family, your neighbors, your whole society. We finally dropped in. It's time for you to stand up and take your country. And if you're somebody serving in the forces, set your weapons down or fight for the good guys. This is your one chance to do it. We welcome you with open arms. You've been begging for help. We got your help, but we need your help now. And so they have been delivering that message, hacking into their system. So of course, if people don't want to hear certain messages, of course they could mess with connectivity feeds for programs such as yesterday. We did our best. We did. Whew, man, it was challenging. If you're watching one of those old timey movies and you have like a dispatch person and they're plugging cables into different things. Thank you for calling. Okay, 1 second, please. Beep, beep, putting people on hold, and they're routing all these calls. It's like wartime, 1940s, 1930s or something. Yeah, I felt like I was constantly juggling chainsaws, apples, and bowling pins. Don't forget to take a bite out of those apples. We did the best we could with that. But yeah, if you've noticed other censorship on other programs, please let me know. I'd be curious. Yeah. Super Bear, were you a Scott Adams fan? Obviously, RIP just because of the general concept, but were you a Scott Adams fan? I'd be curious to find out. All right, everyone, smash the thumbs up button, hit like, hit subscribe, share the show with a friend, Rumble Rants and Super Chats. So let's jump into the news. We're going to go to our instant. And look, part of what we do here is we're going to laugh. We're going to show you some funny stuff. And I hope that's part of what keeps you coming back, is the sense of humor needed to make this work. President Trump goes, hey, I murked Ayatollah al-Khamenei. Oh my God, yay. Here's this hot Iranian lady, because I guess there's a lot of hot Iranian ladies. You wouldn't know it because they made them dress like a beach volleyball sunshade. They have to wear a burlap sack like you would cover your barbecue grill to withstand the winter. All you can see is like that. You take that stuff off. It's like, oh, all these beautiful Iranian ladies. Look at that. Go back and look at the pictures of the 70s. It was a very metropolitan, as Mahmoud Ghaffari, our guest yesterday, joining us. He said, it was very metropolitan, Western, European, forward nation. Everything was great. And then these Islamists came in and destroyed it, just like the communists and Marxists always do. Here's a meme of President Trump. Hey, I murked Ayatollah al-Khamenei. Oh my God, yay. Democrats jump in. She's not interested. She's not interested. He's like, yeah, I wasn't talking to you. Cállate, I wasn't talking to you. But of course, if I've said this a million times, if President Trump came out and said, it's looking like a beautiful day, I'm going to have the press conference outside in the Rose Garden and show up in your best Sunday dress, short sleeve t-shirts. It's going to be the best. The Democrats, the legacy media, they would show up in galoshes. They would have umbrellas. They'd have rain jackets. They would wear that Eskimo thing with the fuzzy hood on it and all shivering and sweating balls. But if Trump says it, they got to be against it, and it really is at the essence of Trump derangement syndrome. So yeah, the wonderful ladies of Iran are like, oh my God, yay! Thanks for murking that guy.
She's not interested. We have to hate this because it could help Trump if people like it. Blah, 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 blah.
Thanks, lady. Yeah. Oh, what is that? David, are you on X? I forget if you're on X also, but that's a good, if you had that in a story that you could share with me on X. By the way, Super Bear, are you on X? I know you're on Kick, but are you on X? Everybody, please create an X account. It really is where the news happens. I guess Elon said on Saturday, I think it was Saturday, when at the height of this Iranian thing, it set a new record for most global users. When people are trying to find out what's happening, you get your news from X. You don't go to lying legacy media. Hell no. No, you don't want a deep state source trying to tell you what's real. You need to go and find out what's real, because discerning voices will, I don't know how to say this because I don't want to minimize my impact and my the value that I bring. Because every time I mention Rumble Rants and Super Chat tips, I'm like, hey, I bring value. If you enjoy it, tip your bartender. But to me, at least, and I guess to Michael Jordan scoring points was, did you just compare yourself to Michael Jordan? Yeah, and LeBron. But when something comes naturally to people, they sort of make it look effortless. Now, that's not to say they don't work their asses off, because they do. They did. Of course they did. Also, I work my ass off trying to decipher and filter and figure out what's true and what's false. But I do a lot of research on X, and Instagram, which is why if you're following us on those two platforms, you'll get a sneak peek about the show that we're going to have, because that's where you see me for 2, 3, 4 hours a day, depending on the length of the show. But I'm putting in just as many hours, if not more, on the backside, trying to, like that gentleman said when he said, how do you do it? How do you find these stories? He goes, you've become my number one news source. And I'm like, that's awesome. Because I really miss Scott Adams on days like this. He would be my number one. I could tune in for an hour 15 and get a lot of good insight, stuff that I might not have heard anywhere else. And I would take the best of those things and deliver them to you. And I'd surreptitiously, through osmosis, absorb some of the other things and deliver it to you. It really is trying to look at all of the things and condense it to what matters. And X allows you to do that. The point being is, when I sift through the news, it starts to become clear to me, based on the other people saying what they're saying, the track record and the panache, the gravitas of their standing. When I see super smart people who do not have a track record of lying to me intentionally, reaching some sort of conclusion, I don't reach that conclusion, but I begin to lean toward that direction as a starting point to begin the investigation. So yeah, I mean, they once said of that band Incubus, oh, you're what does it feel like to be an overnight sensation? Like, overnight sensation? Lady, we've been doing this for 15 years. You just found out about us today. We're not overnight success. Been doing it for 15 years, and New American Media has been around for 15 years as well. But the point being with X, it becomes clear to me what's accurate and who the liars are, based upon the posts, the things that people are sharing, the comments, when people get ratioed. And if you lose X, you lose a lot of ability to discern right from wrong, real from fake. And you watch that Claude AI, I believe, was it Anthropic? No, I think it was Anthropic. I believe it's in my stack of stories. So let me stop pontificating over this lovely meme and keep rolling through the news. But I believe it was Anthropic that President Trump and Pete Hegseth have now said you're banned from working with the U.S. military, and we're gonna discontinue using you anywhere, everywhere, because you're gonna try to say your AI is gonna supersede our commander in chief. Nope, that's not how we do things here. And if you're gonna try to pull this woke leftist crap, we're done. We're out. You can't allow an AI or an algorithm or some editor. By the way, if you use Apple News, there was a report a week or two ago, 100% of their stories were left-leaning. 100% of how many stories? 800 or 8,000 or 1,400? I forget the number. A large sample size, 100% were all lefty. And if all you do is consume toxic food, your body's going to be a shit show. But if you eat organic food, if you eat quality stuff, you're going to be fueled properly. So anyway, that's just a pitch to sign up on X. they're not a sponsor or anything, but like we're at American_media_. Once we tear through these Instagram stories, we'll pull up our X feed and remind you again. But yeah, point being there, if you have a story there where Trump said they haven't even started and the big one is coming, whatever that means, that would be a great story to share with me on X. But here, let me do this. Jamie, why don't you search Trump says the big one is coming. But any one of you can share some stories to me, and I may retweet some of them. Oh, here we go. This is it. I'm gonna jump around on my feed just because David brought it up. See, look, this is also a program, the New American Media, TNAM Daily Show, the New American Media, because the news always matters. TNAM. You get to drive the news. Unfortunately, you guys drove the news and told me Charlie Kirk was shot that day. I remember Pastor Bruce Engelman came in. He called me and I said, "We're live doing a show. Can I put you on speakerphone?" And he said, "Yeah." And we said some prayers and found out that his life was stolen from Earth that day. And if I think I was just about wrapping up my show, but somebody broke the news to me. Sorry if I forget which regular it was or if it was a newcomer, but started getting messages and people started saying, "Oh my God, you see what happened?" I go, "No, what happened?" And so we extended the show by a couple hours. But you get to drive the news. No Facebook, no Instagram for David, not on X. Sorry. David, if I could make the recommendation, it'll take 5 minutes to set up. Just use an email address, pick a handle. And it is Earth's newspaper. It is one of the best ways to search for topics and figure out what's happening. Just now, you gave me the phrase. I said, Trump says the big one is coming. I entered it on X and I have it right in front of me. So since you brought it up, let's take a listen. This is CNN. Nick Sorter reports. Who is this? Jake Tapper. Oh, this clown. But here you go. This does not surprise me either. Here, let's listen to what this report says.
It's not safe out there. And then the president said, it's about to get even less safe. He said, quote, "We haven't even started hitting them hard. The big wave hasn't even happened. The big one is coming soon." It's not.
There you go. Thank you, David. See, you just drove the news today. I may have found that organically or because I have 1,000 things to talk, especially my Monday shows, man. These Monday shows are tough because now I'm sitting on Saturday stories, Sunday stories, Monday stories. And it's like, I really should be doing 7 days a week like Scott Adams. But until all of you can bring, we got to double the show size and then double that, then double that, then double that, so that all the advertising revenue and all of the Super Chats, Rumble Rants can bring it to where it needs to be. I need to be doing other things on Saturday, Sunday. But that being said, I wish I did 7 days a week. And I did. I was doing 7 days for a couple months there. But, there's other things that need to be attended to. It's not surprising that the big stuff hasn't happened yet. But Pete Hegseth here, they quoted him on the Iran war. This is not Iraq. This will not be endless. So that's what a lot of people are hoping. That's for sure. All right, let's keep it going. Let's bounce back over to Instagram. Hey, I marked Ayatollah Khomeini. Oh my God, yay.
She's not interested.
Thanks, lady. All right, let's keep it rolling. How are people reacting? You got this old crappy flag where they have this Islamic supremacist butchery, oppression, tyranny. What they got? The swords and stuff. How are Iranians in Boston acting after the U.S.-Israeli strike? Oh, I gotta mute it because they're playing music. But it sure looks like people are kind of excited, and they're dancing on the flag of the moment that their nation was captured. They're going back to the bear and the sun. Brother Mahmoud Ghaffari yesterday said that going back to the name Persia is not something that they're super interested in doing because that was the name given to them by the Greeks. They're okay with the name Iran, which means Aryan, and that is the name they're comfortable with. So it's not just they have to change the name to remove the Islamic influence. Because I had been saying that maybe a name change would be in order. Yeah, but a lot of people keep saying freedom for Persia, freedom for Persia, freedom for Persia. All right, keep it rolling. Clayton Kearns. Trump says, peace through strength. Then Trump uses strength. And then Twitter users, for some reason, for those of you in Rio Linda, California, Brian was making the O face. Not in the O face as in Office Space. Was it Office Space? But the O face as in the Pikachu, oh my gosh face. Yeah, that's what peace through strength looks like. You use strength. The Dank Knight put this out. That is just a chilling image. A reminder that Khomeini once tweeted out, the U.S. president has said that for 47 years, the United States hasn't been able to eliminate the Islamic Republic. That is a good confession. I say you too will not be able to do this. Oh, yeah. Clayton continues, this isn't over yet, but it seems to be playing out how it always does. As I said earlier, Trump's military operations always have a clear and defined goal, and they are executed with insane precision. He also tends to compress time frames. The end goal is to never drag it out. He has always operated this way. I highly doubt he'd put his entire legacy on the line for a maybe. I'm going to bet on Trump again. Geiger Capital says, it's very simple. If this attack on Iran is another quick, successful operation like the nuclear strikes or a Maduro raid, or let me add, the takedown of the Mexican cartel, Trump will get away with it. If it's dragged out into a legitimate war or another post-regime change disaster, Trump is done and J.D. Vance will be as well. You hear a lot of that right now, and that's not super unfair to say. Stephanie Tyler, going back to that moment, and Super Bear likes the Trump voice. You gotta, a lot of people say, I kind of do Trump a campaign voice. I want to find, there's a lot of different versions of Trump voice, and I need to study some of the greats who explain how to do Trump impressions, where I can do the low key, tired Trump. Frank Caliendo does a great one, but thank you. I appreciate it. During yesterday's program, I also did a Bobby Kennedy. We were discussing a couple of issues. Anyway, Stephanie Tyler here from, what was it called? Facebook. What was the movie called? It was called the Social Network. It was called The Social Network. And he says, you're calling it the Facebook. Get rid of the. Call it Facebook. It's cleaner. Justin Timberlake saying that. Just Persia. It's cleaner. And I brought that up to Mahmoud Ghaffari, and he's like, no, we're good with Iran. Iran means Aryan, and that's kind of our descent, and we're fine with that. Kenneth in the hizzy. I do grumpy Trump. Yeah, I kind of do like campaign rally Trump. Because he doesn't do a lot of that growling. He does kind of like a ramp up, like a lot of people say. Anyway, let's continue. Dev says, here's the point of view. You just found out why Palantir trades at 410 times their earnings. Countries used to fight wars for months. Then some MFers created Palantir. Now World War III ends in a few hours. Okay, now. Mostly peaceful memes. Peace isn't achieved through pacifism. Yeah, if you're getting attacked by the bully, what do? You keep getting attacked, or you stop the attack. Iran's directly involved with butchering 1,000 Americans since their overthrow. Constant terror campaigns, brutalizing everybody in the region. It's the neighbor on your block that nobody can stand. But who's going to take care of it? Is anybody going to handle it? Well, nobody has since they stole Iran from the good people of Iran back in 1979. Finally, somebody did something about it. And now everybody's breathing a sigh of relief. Peace isn't achieved through pacifism. Peace through strength, but you got to use strength to get to that peace. And every time a mission is carried out, it's a reminder. You don't think President Trump's made a phone call to Putin and Zelensky and said, hey, I've been telling you two assholes to stop fighting and declare a truce for 3 years. I will reach a point where I will no longer discuss it with you. We have other options. We're trying to give you the easy option here. And by the way, they were trying to do the same thing with Iran. They were trying to do the same thing with Venezuela, but they wouldn't negotiate. They wouldn't play ball. They thought he was bluffing. Well, guess what? He ain't. Guess what? He ain't. Hello, MD Sleepwalker. Are you giving the what the F face? Give me some context. What was said or typed that you're going, what's that all about? Super Bear says, I can think of that one song. And I think I started singing that song yesterday. Super Bear, did you join our show yesterday? Maybe you did. I sort of don't recall it. It wasn't a very comment-heavy show. I was trying to juggle chainsaws, bowling balls, and apples, trying to keep the connectivity issues together and some coherent conversation for yesterday's program. But yeah, I believe toward the beginning of the show, I sang the bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb, Iran. So yeah. Kenneth, I ran into some good people. Lawsuit pending. Nice. But yeah, peace isn't achieved through pacifism. All right, what's this? This is all from Clayton Kearns. I did follow him. I don't share stuff in this account much. I don't know much about him, but here's a post. They saying we might go to war. It's crazy because ever since we stopped talking, I've been at war with myself. I don't know why, but this Iran shit got me thinking about how I ran from your love. Hope everything is good with you, though, Shorty. Be safe out there. Now, there's a Gen Alpha text if you've ever seen one. And, you know, to all the people that are just going to constantly say the U.S. is doing the bidding of Israel and we're under the thumb and Trump is controlled by Israel. And you go, all right, yeah, okay. Also, the geopolitical situation now, this is all seeming to be putting leverage on China. China. Sir, why do you call it the China virus? Because it's from China. China now looking for its oil supply. Let me get the percentage. I've heard this discussed. Yes, that was relevant to my search. Thank you for asking, Grok. Let me ask Grok, what percentage of oil, of Chinese oil, came from Iran? 84% was a number that was floating in my head. That seems impossible, but let me double check here. If Grok can run the calculation, it's searching the web with 21 results. They're saying 15% of total crude oil comes from Iran, or up to 20%. Oh, okay, here we go. Maybe this is the 80% number. 80% of Iran's exports went to China. Oh, okay, that's the number I was thinking of. See, and that's what I'm trying to be, Jamie, I'm just trying to be accurate. All right, thanks, Jamie. I don't have a Jamie, I'm Jamie. 80% of the oil that was exported from Iran, 4 out of 5 barrels went to China. Uh-oh. And so it's interesting. You look at what happened. Let's do a recap. ICE goes across many major metropolitan areas. DC, super important. LA, super important. Chicago, Minneapolis, all sorts of places. ICE. What was that for? Obviously, because we got to get rid of the 40 million people that snuck into the movie theater. You didn't buy a ticket. You snuck in. You don't deserve to be here. You might be. And a lot of you are probably really fine people. Fine people on both sides. But you got to go. And so removing the sleeper cells, the military-aged men, the sleeper cells, the gangs, the Islamic extremists. Step 1 is go root out as many as we could find. Step 2, take down Venezuela. Jury will still be out on whether they played a role in the 2020 debacle of an election and countless elections across the globe with voting software hacking as a plot, a coup, a treasonous plot, a plot most foul, devious. Then after Venezuela, you open up the oil supply. So then you go into Iran, because if they shut down the Strait of Hormuz, go for it. We got Venezuela pumping that oil, pal. I mean, it feels like something is moving with momentum, and a lot of totalitarian tyrants are being taken the F out. China's looking around the room, looking for its oil supply. Uh-oh. I actually recreated this. It was the day I moved out of I lived in Los Angeles for a while, and it was the day that I was finally leaving. I looked this image up, and I put my hands in my pocket, and I was wearing a Cleveland Browns shirt too. And I looked around just like, damn, whew, a lot of memories in this place, you know? A lot of you have had those moments where you go, whew, a lot of memories. China, they remember getting so much of their oil from that area. David says, I heard one of the largest banks in China has collapsed. Is it true? Well, David, if you were on X, you could look this up for me and tag me on a story, but I'm already here. Jamie, did one of China's biggest banks just collapse? Let's see what Jamie says, looking this one up. Once again, y'all are driving the news. We're making this work together. It's a collaborative effort. A collab. No, none of the big four. Industrial Commercial Bank of China and ICBC, China Construction Bank, CCB, Agricultural Bank of China, ABC, or Bank of China, BOC, has collapsed as of March 2. Real estate slump ongoing since 21. Non-performing loans, zombie companies, no big four collapse. Rural banks struggle with bad loans and seized properties, but no widespread collapse. So that's at least the initial reaction from Grok. But to people that say, oh, we're just doing this for Israel, it's like, man, there's a lot of things that could be simultaneously true. Is this good? Maybe so, maybe not. There's that Chinese proverb again. Maybe so, maybe not. Open source intel. Iran's foreign ministry spokesman told Sky News that Supreme Leader Khamenei is alive and in good condition. Hey guys, look, Khamenei's alive and in very good condition. Hey, Woody. Yeah, that's essentially how they propped up Biden for all those years. Okay, Super Bear, maybe you need to be my, maybe Izzy could help. Maybe you could help with this. I don't even know what a Discord is, dude. People jump in here on Twitch, Kick, D Live, and like, hey, I'd love to share you on our Discord. Pay me $100 and we'll get you on Discord. You'll get all these followers. I go, I don't know what any of this means. I go, just do it. They all want money to do it. So I don't know what a Discord means, but I'm open to it. Like, we need to grow on those platforms. They exist because we can stream to them. And I do not trust Google, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Meta. Our company page is deleted, demonetized, shadow banned, censored, silenced, memory hold. Oh, I tried to find my YouTube video about chemtrails from the Conscious Life Expo. They zapped that video. I searched 30 different times. I had a friend say, hey, send me a link to that. I can't find it. And I go, I can't find it either. YouTube must have taken it down because they have the green news scam, the trillions of dollars being rerouted and stolen from us because of carbon or something. It's just another way to extract value, extract money. Google, YouTube wouldn't allow us to have an open conversation about whatever the hell they're spraying in the skies, because you look up and see it. Beautiful, gorgeous day. Some assholes throw some plane lines in the sky doing some tic-tac-toe. Give it 40 minutes. You look up, it's just a murky haze of garbage. Oh, Google, YouTube did not like that. So Discord is an app. So I got to download another app called Discord. And it's a community where they can message. And then does Discord get connected to Twitch, Kick, D Live? but not YouTube and Rumble. I've never messed with it, but I'm open to it. I got to figure it out. Actually, let me send a message. Oh shit, is that tonight? Ooh, there's something I need to do tonight. Oh, it is Monday the 2nd. Okay, my schedule just changed. All right, gotta do that tonight. Hey, quick question. What do you know about Discord that I connect to Twitch Kick D Live? What do you know about Discord? Can you help me set that up? All right. I put my best people on it. Jamie, can you get back to me about that? Anyway, thank you about that. No, they do not like talking about chemtrailing and geoengineering because it messes with their agenda. Oh, carbon's up to you gotta. Oh, we need a global carbon tax. So everybody needs to pay me money. Yeah, of course they're getting filthy rich off this stuff. Once again, knocking the American people down a few pegs because we've had it too good for too long. So there you have it. All right, let's keep it running. No, they do not like that. Not Datcord, Discord. No, not that one, this one. He says, I can try, though. Okay. What's the first 2 comments? Not a lot. I don't use it, but I can try, though. Coolio. Along with TikTok, I got some work to do. All right, that's in motion now. Let's keep it rolling. Charles Curran says, being able to kidnap a head of state and decapitate a regional military power back to back without taking a single American casualty is such a wild spectacle of power, I don't think it has any other historic precedent. Agreed, except for the part that's false. We are now up to at least 4 American service members who have lost their life, many injured, and that number is likely to climb as we continue the efforts. So it's not accurate to say there's been no loss of life. It's been very minimal. Ask the other side how many they lost. So Super Bear says, also don't listen to the people saying they'll boost your channel. It's a scam that gets your accounts banned. All right. Got it. Thank you. I will not let them do that. Appreciate you. Yeah, you can be my TikTok advisor too, Super Bear. I got to get my TikTok set up. I don't want a Chinese spy app on there, but I know it's changed hands now. Here's President Trump waving out the window of the McDonald's. You can just do things. And that should be a mantra that you keep in your head. This is your video game. You are the character. You have the joystick. You can just do things. And it just makes you wonder, all these years and money laundering trillions of dollars and decades-long forever wars, can't you just do things quick and get them done and move on to the next thing? If you wanted to, you could have, but you didn't want to. Dr. Barron says, Trumpism is increasingly showing itself to be an ideology that eventually transgresses everyone, yet somehow everyone winds up steadily improving everything despite all objections. As a pattern noticer, I trust this, like all else, will also be better once the chaos is past. Kim Jong-un, no, I'm fine. Just keeping an eye out. Looking to the sky. Yeah, you better be on your best behavior. Clandestine is a good account to follow. Trump's critics are quick to compare him to Bush Iraq while completely ignoring Trump's record of precise military operations. Syria, 2017 to 2020. Iraq, 2020 to 25. Somalia, 2025. Yemen, 2025. Iran, 2025. Nigeria, 2025. Venezuela, 2026. All precise operations that do not escalate to forever wars or broader conflict. All clean and swift strikes with no boots on the ground, with the exception of the Maduro arrest, which lasted 2 hours and still saw 0 U.S. fatalities. Okay. Trump has shown repeatedly that his objective is not to start wars, it's to conduct precise operations with as close to zero U.S. casualties as possible. Anyone bringing up Bush or Iraq is completely ignoring relevant information in favor of irrelevant information. Trump is not Bush. This is not 2003. And Trump has compiled a consistent track record proving that he is surgical. While we do this cycle every time something happens, and the same doomers are proven wrong every single time. Hold the line. Wife Jack, babe, they killed the Ayatollah. Is that a good thing? I think so. Yay. Just text. All right. Are you like Templar pilled? Are you a situation monitorer? Likes to monitor the situation. World War III is my Super Bowl. Feels anxious if the feed hasn't been refreshed for 2 minutes. I'm monitoring. This must be how God feels. Plugged into every schizophrenic rabbit hole of the current thing. Doom scrolling? More like doom refreshing. Right? So I have tried to avoid a lot of the doom scrolling and go over these things with you during the show. I try to do more of my scrolling with you on the program. Some things I've pre-approved, some things we're discovering together. It's a bit of a process. And I like it that way. Coop says, I received confidential information from a White House insider that Trump was initially hesitant to greenlight strikes against the Islamic regime of Iran, but then no members of the USA men's hockey team no-ballsed him into it when they visited the White House. Come on. That's humorous right there. I love all the confidential, unnamed sources. All right, Michael Knowles says, are you sure? Last resort. Well, 50 years of negotiations. Legit authority? Oh, hold on. Let's go backward. Odysee says, you do not need to be in the government to see that this doesn't meet the requirements of a just war. Are you sure? It's a last resort because they've had 50 years of negotiations with these Islamic supremacists, these murderous, tyrannical thugs, demons. Legit authority? Redress of injury. Iran killed lots of our troops and targeted President of the United States and promises more harm. 4, reasonable chance of success. See my post. Goal to reestablish peace. Check. Proportionality. See my post. Discriminate between combatants and non-combatants. Yes. So, does it meet the requirements? Well, it's a military operation. As allowable by the 1973 War Powers Act. 111, by the way. Kenneth reminds us, I told you so. Clever wordplay. Appreciate you. Here's a picture, a live look now of Russia and China watching another ally who uses their air defense systems getting erased. Ooh, maybe that's not the best of ideas, is it? Don't you think that Russia and China aren't being influenced by what's happening? Because they are. Iranian state TV networks, according to Ryan Fournier, were being hacked to display President Trump. Check this out.
Attacking you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force.
Yeah, this is the time for action. You've been asking for help. You got it, but now we need you.
Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it. Is backing you.
All right. Ryan says, we literally saved an entire nation from a despot regime. I can't even tell you how proud I am. We're doing everything. Stay along for the ride.
Is backing you with.
This is the smoking lady. Gotta mute it. Her name's Morticia. Morticia Adams is the pseudonym for Malia Nos. She was the one who was lighting her cigarette off the flaming picture of the Ayatollah is an assahola. Remember that, Kenneth? The Ayatollah is an assahola. Tell me what that's from. She said, I said we'd dance on your grave, didn't I? And then hashtagging King Reza Pahlavi. Mahmoud Ghaffari and I discussed this yesterday, that Reza Pahlavi will probably be the transitional figure. And of course, yeah, transition is fine, but are you going to be able to give up the Lord of the Rings ring once you have it? You don't want a king in there. You want something different. Otherwise, you could meet your new boss, same as the old boss. So fingers crossed. People of Iran are just over the moon. Absolutely ecstatic. And I'm happy for them. Almost as happy. Hey, remember when we liberated America from Joe Biden? Many people said he was illegally installed in a coup. And for 4 years, we had to watch all of the atrocities and watch our nation get invaded by an invading army. By the way, stay locked and loaded. Stay frosty, people, because there are sleeper cells around. There are people that hate us, hate you. And they were let in here intentionally and pre-positioned, perhaps to stage an attack once given the signal, whatever that may be, whenever that may be. So stay tuned. All right, what's this? Iranian women are hitting the Trump dance all over social media. See, I mean, you know that meme we shared before the Democrats walk in and go,
She's not interested.
Iranian ladies that Iranian ladies have entered the chat. Okay, now. So they're hitting the Trump dance. Yeah, and by the way, something super interesting that Mahmoud told me yesterday, that they view obviously Donald Trump as a superhero, but they view Benjamin Netanyahu as a prophet. And I was like, really? Because in America, he's often called Satan Yahoo. He's the worst of the worst. And Mahmoud talked about the good relationship that the Persians used to have, or the Iranians used to have with Israel, until the Islamic supremacists came in and everything went sideways. Is it okay if I just watch this post all day? If I just keep this up and I'll tell you about the other news stories? We don't need to get to anything else? No, I'm kidding. We will let it roll. All right. Here's a meme dump. They bombed Iran just in case Iran bombed them and are now scared that Iran might bomb them back. Am I reading this correct? Okay. White people humor. I know this isn't the time, but drafting boomers to war instead of young people would also solve the housing crisis. Shit. Kenneth, you'd like to do the horizontal Trump dance with her? Hey, I'm just going to let that float out there. Yeah, what if you drafted the boomers instead of young people? Then you'd solve the housing crisis. This is great. Mostly peaceful memes, reports on the strikes. Breaking. France has surrendered. Not even a part of it, but France always surrenders. A bunch of cheese-eating surrender monkeys. Sunday Girl says, gonna tell the kids World War III was started by one of the cast members of Home Alone 2. Oh, good God, that's something else. Oh, boy. Perhaps the best meme of the weekend. Multiple people sent this to me. Spectator Index says, breaking. Jordan says it shot down 2 Iranian ballistic missiles. Riley says, LeBron never did that. By the way, I do a sports show. If you're unaware, for 15 years, I've had the Unhappy Hour Sports Show. Another way to support the program, if you would like, shoot me a Venmo of $30 and I'll send you 4 Ohio-made wooden coasters. The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. One is in the circle shape and one is the state of Ohio, because that's where I hail from. I definitely focus on the Indians, Cavs, Browns, Buckeyes, Guardians. But I cover all things sports. Or a pin. Pins are $25. I'll do 2 sets of coasters for $50, shipping included. $75 for all 3 of these. The Unhappy Hour Sports Show. So yes, I reference sports often. I do the sports show. We'll be doing a strictly football combine and pre-draft, pre-free agency special show very soon. And then, of course, a draft show coming up. April is the draft, I think. I forget what day. But yeah, LeBron never did that. Jordan says it shot down 2 Iranian ballistic missiles. Of course, referencing the nonstop debate of who's the greatest basketball player of all time. Hint, it's LeBron James. He's 1A, Jordan's 1B. Not too much you can knock Jordan for, but LeBron has surpassed him. Longevity, broke a Cleveland curse, franchise championships for 3 different teams. It's not even close, but I digress. Chad says, moved to Dubai for a tax shelter, and now I'm in a bomb shelter. Crap. Iran better not kill any Iranian protesters. And murders of 57 Iranian schoolgirls on day 1. You heard about that school attack. Of course, I'm trying to figure out exactly what happened. Kim Jong-un was reelected leader of the North Korea's ruling party in a rare meeting. But Joe lost everything betting on that in Kalshi, apparently. War was always here. Before man was, war waited for him. The ultimate trade awaiting its ultimate practitioner. Another shirt, there is no political solution. The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. Orwell. All right, meme dump from Carry the Fire. That's so good. LeBron never did that. Let's listen to this. Who is this guy? Martin Cedra. Take a listen to him about Iran. He has thoughts.
The only way for Iran to be free is for them to get rid of Islam, get rid of Prophet Muhammad, get rid of Sharia law, and bring the Prince of Peace into the country.
Everywhere Islam goes, they destroy. They conquer, they destroy. You either lay down and accept that you're going to be wearing a burlap sack forever and you'll be thrown off the building if they don't like what you do in your bedroom and all sorts of, they got their ideas. They got their plan. But the people of Iran get to make their future determined at this point forward now.
How do you get freedom in Iran? Where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. Let them be set free from Islam, free from Muhammad, free from the Quran, freedom.
I mean, you can have freedom or you can have Sharia, but there is not having both.
Jesus, the Prince of Peace. Wherever Jesus enters, joy comes back. Jesus enters a funeral, the young girl comes to life. A place where there is brokenness, redemption comes. When Jesus steps in the room, everything changes. When Jesus...
We shall see what comes next.
The steps in the room, chains begin to break, demons begin to tremble. Everything falls at the name of Jesus.
Demons begin to tremble. Yeah, Mahmoud and Reza Pahlavi, they all use the term demon. Khomeini's a demon. What happened that was governing, oppressing those people for 50 years, demonic. Truly a battle of good and evil.
The only way...
Let's just say, Wick actual. I'm not here to vote for change. I'm here to disembowel all the pedos in our government. Well, let's see what comes next. Oh God, this is a tough one. You saw the Jim Carrey thing where Jim Carrey was out there at an awards show, but it wasn't Jim Carrey.
You know what this means.
He knows too much. Eliminate him.
The stem cells need more time.
The mask is almost ready.
The mask must be perfect.
This is from El Uru, who put this together.
Take him deep underground. No one will ever find him.
There's too much music. I wish there was no music. Mute it.
The transformation is complete for the ceremony. Remember, exactly like it.
Act exactly like it. Oh geez, look at this. And everyone's going, what is this?
Thank you for this award.
Is that a mask? Oh my God, look at his face.
This is what they did with Joe Biden to us for 4 years. How many skin suits and masks? And you had the tall Biden, you had you could see it peeling off. The fake White House set.
Something's wrong. That's not him.
Help me, please.
La verdad no es para...
Yeah, because Jim Carrey came out on Jimmy Kimmel and... Ooh. Jim Carrey. What do you guys think about the Jim Carrey thing? Tell me in the comments. I got another Jim Carrey.
You...
Oh. Oof. This is a Nigerian priest carrying a rifle to protect people. Asking to pray for the persecuted church in Nigeria because, yep, you guessed it, violent, murderous Islamists butchering people in Nigeria because they butcher people that disagree. Which is why you cannot let them take control of your country because they will butcher you. This is their MO. So, yep, everybody needs to be locked and loaded right now. Be very aware. Be very careful. David says it's not Jim. No, it's not Jim Carrey. It was very odd. But yeah, this is the way. Become lethal. Everyone. What's this girl's name? I've watched her recently. Make America Emo Again. I don't know her name. But she... how do you feel about the U.S. attacking Iran? Her answer?
I don't want World War III. I want a crusade.
Were you taught about the Crusades in school? Were you taught that it was just a bunch of evil white men, evil Christians? It was a pushback to the global conquest attempts of Islam, as always. The neighbors nobody gets along with because they push their stuff on you. And if you don't become a Philadelphia Eagles fan, they'll kill you. Okay, that's not how this works. But to them it is. You do everything we say or else you're going to get it. That's an invasion. That's an attack. You have every right to defend yourself from that. And that's exactly what the Crusades were.
I don't want World War III. I want a crusade.
Let's check on the streets of Washington, D.C. It's absolutely flooded with people cheering for President Khomeini. This is historic. Democrats are going to have a really tough time spinning this one. People are appreciative. Okay, American flag, even some Israeli flag. Three of them took out that demonic thing that was running them into the ground. I'm not showing what city this is. Is this LA? Yeah, where else are you going to see Iranian, American, and Israeli flags in the same spot? But according to Brother Mahmoud yesterday, that's the way things used to be. It used to be a pretty cool place in Iran. So anyway, Latinos with Trump says Australia, Canada, Britain, Switzerland, Germany, France. Hey, look. So happy everywhere. Neighbors that nobody likes will be eliminated. If I say the neighbors nobody likes, you probably have an experience and can relate to, right? Israelis and Iranians dancing and celebrating side by side in the streets. That's what Mahmoud said. In Iran, the Jews and they weren't Arabs, they were Christians and Zoroastrians in Iran. Got along together really well until the totalitarian Islamic supremacists began their reign of demonic terror. This is London. I don't know what that song is, but we got to move on from it.
Celebration in the streets of LA as word spread that Iran's supreme leader was killed in the...
Yeah, I think we should do alleged supreme leader, or air quote supreme leader. I don't know that we should even give that term any airspace.
Attack. More than 200,000 Iranians live in California. Many fled the regime that ruled there for 47 years.
And of course, that's where Mahmoud Ghaffari and I met in Los Angeles.
And they welcome change.
United States and Israel, they are there to change the regime.
Events reached a tipping point after the Iranian crackdown on protesters last month that killed thousands. Iranians here demanded the U.S. government take military action.
We don't want to say thank you to President Trump. This is the only person who supported us in the last 50 years. Every single people in Iran knew that the only way that this regime is going to go away is that to attack them.
For the first time in their lives, many here are expressing optimism for a new life in Iran. Celebration in the streets of
Celebrations in Washington, D.C. People are happy. Don't let the Democrat mumble machine tell you that this isn't a glorious thing. I mean, all those Iranian flags chanting USA. And Israeli flags in America. You don't have to hate each other and keep blowing it. We share that one already. Let's get. Hey, Iran before the 1979 revolution. Check this out. Can you believe this used to be Iran? Look at this. I mean, it could have been America. It could have been London for a while. Just a good place. Awesome place. Where the bad guys came in and did bad guy stuff. Where the demons started abusing these people. It's just impossible to fathom that the nation used to be all right. And then the Islamists ruined it. Very on brand. Just trying to give you a flavor of the music. I mean, this could be Princess Di, and this could be Jackie O, and it could be just normal 70s life. Before the bad guys came in and started doing bad guy stuff. The comment here, I always look at my parents' photo albums from before the revolution and feel a deep sense of longing. The way people dressed, the trips they took, the smiles, the quality of life. They had more financial stability, freedom, more ease, a normal human life, something that was taken from us. Make Iran like the 1970s again. Button. I'll do another one. Make Iran great again. Button. Drop a few breadcrumbs, hoping people will follow us on Instagram. Xavier has thoughts on Iran.
Schools, the Iranian schools. Have y'all learned nothing about the propaganda war? The United States nor Israel did not send a missile at an elementary school in Iran. What happened was the Islamic regime has one of their bases next to a grade school, and when they tried to send one of their ghetto missiles, it failed and it landed on that school. So of course, they took a page out of Hamas's playbook because they wrote it, and they called out a false flag and made it seem like it was America and Israel who attacked them. You can literally see the trajectory of that missile and how it landed back on the school. If you want to know what's actually happening in Iran, talk to the Persians, talk to the Iranians, talk to these different
Iranians chant and dance in the streets after U.S.-Israeli airstrikes. I love Trump.
People, and they will tell you that they are so happy that President Trump is fighting to get the regime out of Iran. The Iranian schools, the Iranian schools. Have y'all learned nothing?
Yep, give us
the Iranian schools, the Iranian schools.
The Democrats are going to just anything they can do to make Trump look bad. So just with a grain of salt. Now, warning about sleeper cells. I've been ask any of the regulars who I've been talking to for a while. I bring this up all the time. We need to be frosty. We need to be prepared everywhere we go.
Don't come in screaming and waving flags. They don't kick your door down. They mow lawns. They coach soccer. Maybe they even sit 3 rows behind you at church. Sleeper cells don't look like enemies. That's the point. When nations strike overseas, retaliation doesn't always launch from across the ocean. Modern asymmetric warfare has always relied on embedded networks. Iran's IRGC has used proxies for decades. Hezbollah has operated globally. That's not conspiracy, that's documented history. And over the years, we've allowed millions of people into the country, unvetted. Sleeper assets don't activate during calm. They activate during escalation. And when tensions spike, intelligence agencies don't just watch borders. They shift focus inward. Infrastructure, soft targets, crowded events, transportation hubs, power grids. Because if retaliation happens, it won't look like an invasion. It'll look like disruption, chaos, fear. Attacks designed to shake public confidence. Here's the uncomfortable truth. People capable of that don't look like movie villains. They blend in. They build normal lives, and they wait. So what do? You raise your awareness levels. You watch behavior patterns, repeated surveillance of secure locations, unusual interest in security layouts, and testing access points. Could be vehicles lingering where they shouldn't be. That's what counter-terror training actually teaches. And if something crosses the line from odd to concerning, make sure to report it to law enforcement. And more importantly, stay armed, always, and keep your situational awareness on point. This is America. There's a gun behind every blade of grass. Stay frosty. They don't come in screaming and waving flags.
Yep. I'll put stay frosty button. Everybody out there, stay frosty. Defend yourself, your family, your community. Stay frosty button. Exactly.
They don't come in screaming.
This is how Tim Pool imagines aliens coming to Earth.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them.
They're real.
They're not being kept in
Area 51.
Area 51. There's no underground facility.
President Trump ordering government agencies to come clean about UFOs and the possibility of alien encounters.
You're the only guy for the job, Rubio.
It can only be you, Rubio.
Hey, Dusty, your leader.
Listen, I'm here to meet you.
Who is this? We said your leader.
Everyone's eating beef jerky and pizza. Like, what the fuck is pizza?
Pull that up, Jamie. Basically, we're monitoring your communications, and you seem like the most reasonable person to talk to right now.
If I'm the sanest guy here, we're all screwed. I have to show you this video of a monkey sniffing his finger.
I don't know. That was just kind of silly. I thought that was fun. Got to break the monotony.
I know
a
you
little levity. Here's Patrick Bet David with some thoughts. He's from Iran.
You have some personal history here. You want to tell us how you're feeling tonight?
A lot of people feeling this.
I mean, this is a very special day today, and I'll tell you why. Because since 1979, when these guys took over, Iran's been chaotic for people that live there. 81% of the people there do not want the IRGC. I left Iran July 15th of 89. June 3rd of 89, Khomeini died. Not killed, died. I was in school at Gulbenkian. We're in the streets. I'm trying to find my parents. It was absolutely insane. Eventually, we did. 6 weeks later, we escaped, went to Germany. Fast forward from 89 till today. Now, the Supreme Leader Khamenei being taken out. This isn't like taking out the president or general of the army or even the prime minister or even the Pope. You took out the number 2 to God in their religion. You took out the supreme leader. This is a statement to everybody. Brett Baer put out a post about the fact that they took out 40 of their leaders. Think about what that conversation looks like right now to say, listen, guys, you have a couple options. You can either work with us or you're next. Does anybody want his job? Does anybody want to be the supreme leader next? Because the target's on you. What do you guys want to do? So that conversation, I believe, is taking place right now. But the world just got safer today because of all the leaders that were taken on. And God willing, if the mission is done, the world's going to be a safer place.
How do the Iranian people feel about this?
Ecstatic, to say the least. They're dancing, they're parading, they're crying, they're emotional. You see the celebration amongst women. Women feel free that finally this cloud that they have over them, that they can't do anything and don't put this on and don't put that on. I mean, this is a massive, massive moment for them. They've been waiting for this for 47 years. And you have to realize for 47 years, we've had a lot of different presidents. We've had a lot of different Iranian leaders that have tried to make this happen. But the one thing that's very different is the president. President made this happen. The Iranian people, I wouldn't be surprised if moving forward in the Iranian community, a lot of the people that couldn't stand the president because they were liberals or, oh my God, he saw this, he saw that. Watch how many Iranians who were Democrats could overnight become Republicans saying, I support this man here.
How do you think this changes the political dynamic here in the United States? You've kind of seen some wishy-washy comments from Kamala Harris, from Gavin Newsom. Yeah, Ayatollah's a bad guy, but this is an illegal war, and I don't support it. How do you think that's going to play?
I mean, they have to play their politics. I'm not surprised. We're going to get a lot more of that. And by the way, here's a part that we have to realize, you know, for viewers that are watching this, I want you to think about this. What is the heaviest decision you had to make that nobody knew about? What is the most recent heavy decision you had to make? Maybe kids, maybe marriage, maybe finances, maybe you lost a client, maybe you lost a business, and it's carrying all this burden on you, right? Think about everything that we're dealing with. So a few days after Supreme Court rules against the president, publicly everyone's talking about, you know, you got to give this money back. And then he goes to the State of the Union, calm, cool, collected, has a blast, calling them crazy, enjoying himself, celebrating with the, you know, the hockey team that just won, talks for an hour and 48 minutes. And while he's giving the speech, this is what we have to realize. He knows they're about to attack Iran, but no one knows it. I mean, this is not an easy thing to do for a leader. When a leader's carrying burden, you typically will feel something from them. You felt nothing. This is why Iran, the IRGC, was shell-shocked how it happened. It's not like they did it at 2 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning. 8:15, it's like in your face. We're going to do it when you're awake because we want you to know. We went inside. You had a mole. The same way many years ago, we've all seen the movie Donnie Brasco with Joe Pistone that went into the mob for 5 years and 10 months. And then all of a sudden, every one of the mobsters gets caught because this guy started leaking all the information. If there was a mole inside IRGC that's leaking information out, this may be the most humiliating thing that ever happened to these guys. It's a massive loss for them, massive victory for America and the world.
Yep, hopefully this continues to go as well as the first 24 hours have.
Yeah, and you never know. Maybe so, maybe not.
I know you have some personal history here. You want to tell us how you're feeling tonight?
All right.
I know you have some...
Keep rolling. Hit like, hit subscribe.
On paying...
Okay, let's bounce over to what Democrats are doing with ICE. Well, is this treason? What's happening with Karen Bass?
On paying illegal immigrants.
We also are going to have a reinstitution of the Angelino card, something that Mayor Garcetti started during COVID that will actually provide cash assistance to people. Because, you know, you have people who don't want to leave their homes, who are not going to work, and they are in need of cash.
So if you came here illegally and then you committed another crime, just hang tight. We're going to give you a little cash to hold you over so you don't have to come out of your house.
This is looking insurrectionist. We are going to pay you to break the law. We are not only going to tell you not to follow the federal law, federal immigration law, now we're going to pay you to stay at your home and hide from the authorities that are enforcing laws that are nationwide. If they were against these laws, they should go through the legislative process and try to pass laws that say we're against federal immigration and we want open borders, but they're not doing that. They're paying people to break the law.
I want to...
Looking at this, it appears though Karen Bass reinstated that July of 25. So that's not something that came out this week, but it is something to be aware of. Important. Okay. Karen Bass is terrible. Gavin Newsom is terrible. Hey, David's feeling good. I think everything is moving in the right direction. Yeah, I mean, we've been screaming, when are things going to happen? Well, things are happening. Is it good things that are happening? Well, let's hope. Sure seems like things are in motion. The dominoes are falling. This Asmongold guy plays this video of this dude. Take a listen. This is Inside America. We're telling you to be prepared. Oh, I'm telling you to be prepared for a very obvious reason. Take a look at this.
Trump made a huge mistake by killing our leader, Ali Khamenei. We are going to continue his path. We're going to hold his blood and ideology and teach it to our children. Dearborn Henry Ford Community College professor. Wait, this is in America? Just go get this guy and just go put him in jail.
Yep.
What are we doing? This is a person that's advocating for terrorism. What are we doing? What are we doing pussyfooting around this? This is unbelievable. Why is anybody putting up with this for even a second? I don't know what the hell is wrong with them. Yes, say what you want about violence, but it gets a quick response, be it good or bad, quick answers. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, it depends on what's happening. So yes, this is crazy. Obviously, this person should get deported. What are we doing with this? Like, I don't think that I feel like, again, Americans are not willing. God help us all if we're about to see a repeat of the post-Iraq 2003 era. Illegally invade a Middle East country, energize extremists, and then get predictable blowback in the U.S. See, this is the kind of stuff, like, this is another, again, this is a person that's trying to spread political Islam. This person is basically creating a permission structure that rationalizes and blames terrorism in the United States on the American government. So this person's trying to rationalize and justify terrorism happening here. Like, I don't even know. I don't know why we put up with these people. It's just unbelievable to me that this happens. I hope that, again, like in these next elections, we will continue to get more and more extreme people that are willing to do what needs to be done about these individuals. They need to be deported and put in jail. This is crazy that you have people that are advocating for terrorism in America. It's unbelievable this is even happening. Let me go and see if I can find these other comments here, too. It's our justice system. It's garbage. Well, I mean, again, like, all you need is the military and the police, and it doesn't matter what some random fucking, like, activist judge says. Just go get them, put them in a military camp, and get rid of them. That's what should happen. Trump made a huge mistake by killing our...
All right. Be alert. Ooh, check this one out. Oh, can I not share this? Doggone it.
It's not hatred. You guys, it's not hatred to tell a child that they can grow up to be healthy and whole.
It's not hatred to tell a child they can grow up to be healthy and whole.
How much money does a surgeon make off $100 and the surgeon makes $25,000. I was approved for a phalloplasty.
And 2 appointments over Zoom, she says.
Zoom. My doctor told me I could have a fake penis that would allow me to either pee standing up.
My doctor told me I could have a fake penis that would allow me to either pee standing up.
Or to have penetrative sex, but it could only be one. Not both. Do you think your transgender child might one day have top surgery and a phalloplasty? Is that something you would allow them to have? They make a phalloplasty out of the skin tissue on your thigh or your forearm. It's like a skin sausage. It's a fake penis. $130,000.
She leans in and says,
I'm gonna hunt you down and fucking kill you. You can't say that. You can't tell somebody you're gonna kill them.
I'm gonna hunt you down and effing kill you, she says. Let me see if I can find this on X. Hunt you down and fucking kill you. Oh, that brings up Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. Okay, this is it. Good, I found it. UCSF faculty member Madeline Mann allegedly. Wow.
tissue on your thigh or your forearm. It's like a skin sausage. It's a fake penis. $130,000. I'm gonna hunt you down and fucking kill you. You can't say that. You can't tell somebody you're gonna kill them. You can't say that to somebody.
Trantifa. Wow. Professor, not surprised. Allegedly, we don't know. Criminals on all levels in California. Anyway, that was an important one that was like, you know, can't talk about Iran all day, right?
Look, red bones.
Was the closest mother's face of courage doing fearless work amongst the demons. There you go.
Look.
Anyone else feel this way? This is me sitting alone at the barbecue because no one wants to talk about satanic pedo cults with me. Some legends installed a picture of Andrew's arrest in the Louvre and called it "He's Sweating Now." Oh, wow. American voters deciding between a Republican pedo or a Democrat pedo. Which one? The establishment. We just want to move on and put this all behind us, okay? Me, on the other hand, says, nah, man. I'm pretty fucking far from okay. Remember that line? Remember that scene from Pulp Fiction? This is what I think I sound like when I'm talking. Probably what I sound like is okay. when I'm criticizing Trump and a Democrat chimes in, I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing. All right. Okay, I think that was the one I...
Look.
Confirmed to...
So apparently this wasn't Jim Carrey, according to this guy. I don't know if it is or not.
Confirmed to...
No official word from real Jim Carrey yet.
Not be the real Jim Carrey. It's just come out that this was an impersonator. The person who's taken credit for the performance is Alexis Stone, who's a known artist who has...
So someone has taken credit for this?
Done this before. Alexis stating that they had done it on Instagram not long ago and showing a bit of the process. They're better known...
The process... Alexis Stone, perhaps.
For the work from Kim Kardashian, turning her into a lizard. Here's some of the other work from the past.
So if that's true, why? And can we get a sign of life from Jim Carrey?
And obviously impersonating known people is something that this person has done before. But I mean, to be able to pull off Jim Carrey, well done. A lot of people were fooled. Obviously the internet went wild and sort of looked at whoever this person was and said, hell no, that's not him. And good on those people, and good on you for being called a conspiracy theorist, and then turn out to be correct. Confirmed to not be the real Jim Carrey. It's just come out that this was an impersonator. The person who's taken credit for the performance is Alexis Stone, who's a known artist who has done this before. Alexis stating that they had done it on...
All right. So... the Jim Carrey.
Confirmed to not.
Waiting to hear from him. All right, so what is this? This is Reza Pahlavi talking to 60 Minutes about what happened with President Trump.
What is your message to President Trump?
My message to President Trump is that I'm here to echo and join millions of my compatriots inside and outside of Iran to thank him for having done and having the courage to do what is not easy, but intervene. And he will go down in the annals of Iranian history as the most celebrated foreign leader that changed the ball game and changed the world as a result.
In January, President Trump said this about you, quote, "He seems very nice, but I don't know how he'd play within his own country. I don't know whether or not his country would accept his leadership. And certainly if they would, that would be fine with me." You don't seem to have President Trump's wholehearted support. What is your message to President Trump?
My message to President Trump is that I'm here to echo and join millions of my compatriots inside and outside of Iran to thank him for having done and having the courage to do what is not easy, But well, first of all, I don't think that somebody in my position will ever expect to have an official endorsement of a foreign government or a foreign leader. What I do know now is that millions of Iranians inside Iran and outside of Iran are calling my name. They recognize in me the person uniquely placed to play a role of transitional leadership. Not running for office, because that's not what I'm doing, but to be a bridge to that destiny. Well, first of all, I don't think that somebody in my position will ever expect to have an official endorsement of a foreign government or a foreign leader. What I do know now is that millions of Iranians inside Iran and outside of Iran are calling my name. They recognize in me the person uniquely placed to play a role of transitional leadership. Not running for office, because that's not what I'm doing, but to be a bridge to that destiny. Well, first of all, I don't think that somebody in my position will ever expect to have an official endorsement of a foreign government or a foreign leader. What I do know now is that millions of Iranians inside Iran and outside of Iran are calling my name.
Okay. So that's Reza Pahlavi. He might be the one to take over, at least temporarily. The more you know. Keep rolling. Iranian exiles in Canada honor fallen U.S. heroes with flowers at the Toronto consulate. They're more American than most countries.
U.S. Army, thank you! U.S. Army, thank you! U.S. Army, thank you! U.S. Army, thank you! USA! USA!
All right. People all across the globe are happy. Frankly, Frank tells us this. This is a shocking revelation. We need to know this. Minnesota is weeks, if not days, away from owning a nuclear weapon. Minnesota is weeks, if not days, away from owning a nuclear weapon. The more you know. Maybe they need some liberating. John Levine says, Iran must commit to making the next Ayatollah a black woman. The stupidity of the Democrat Party. They care more about what you have between your legs and what your skin color is than qualifications and competence. Good God. So stupid. Khomeini today, Friday the 23rd of July of 21, receiving the second dose of the Iranian COVID-19 vaccine. Well. Says Aquis. I'm trying to link it to that. Whale psychiatrist says President Trump is averaging one tyrannical dictator a month in 2026. At this rate, he will liberate Minnesota from Tim Walz by the end of May. Please, Iran, take out Atlanta, Georgia, please, says Hood Genius. Now, that's a little much. Pub says, if you're in line to get bombed by the USA, stay in line. Larry Elder asks, Larry Elder from the intro to this show, any chance for regime change in Minneapolis? Exactly. Wouldn't that be helpful? Is this Turkey is now considered the next major threat to their existence, according to Israeli officials. Let's say it's like giving change to a homeless guy. No, not sure I follow that one. Trump was able to kill the supreme leader of Iran while working from home at Mar-a-Lago, and you want me to come into the office? Oh, that is so good. That is so good. Veronica, they're orchestrating World War III to spike my cortisol and make me less beautiful. Yeah, how can we make this about me? If Islamic fundamentalism is such a big problem, why not start with Minneapolis and Dearborn instead of Iran? Asks Rising Serpent. Oh, I think a lot of people are. Oh, here's the song. Wait, is he still here? Super Bear, you still here? This is your song. It's been in your head all day. It's the Bomb Iran song. Got you rocking and a rolling. There you go. That one's for you, Super Bear.
Sometime.
All right, Mike Benz has a thought.
Sometime between the summer and fall of 2028, when you will be running as the inheritor of the mantle of Trump's MAGA movement, there will be 14 different discrete countries, as well as giant trade bodies like the EU, who will pass all in tandem coordinated, life-ending fines totaling in the tens of billions of dollars, collectively leveled at every single social media channel that American voters can use to speak with one another, if they carry any message that is a proxy for support for your candidacy. Then these social media companies will be under the gun. If they
We went through this with Biden, all the censorship.
don't do it, they go bankrupt unless you can stop them on their behalf. Or they can relent and censor the speech as a favor to the person who will certainly win the election if they go through with the censorship. They will look to you and you will look helpless. And in fact, by then you will be helpless because you will not have created the leverage to push back or to push back in time for the election. Sometime between the summer and...
That is sage advice about how this is going to play out. You need to be very aware.
Sometime.
Fat. Mr. Enjoyment says Venezuela's oil had to be secured before destabilizing the Middle East. Fat Husband says bro is playing chess. Nehru says Iran did not close the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. did. Okay. They knew they'd destabilize West Asia, so they secured Venezuelan oil beforehand. Peace talks were just a distraction. Attacking Iran was always the plan. Clash Report says Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, Iran has no intention at this stage of closing the Strait of Hormuz and no plans to disrupt navigation there. U.S.-Israel war with Iran sends oil market into biggest crisis in decades. And that's a screaming image of a millennial checking gas prices tomorrow. Are gas prices changed? Let's ask Jamie, have gas prices changed in the U.S. since the Iran attack? Let's see what Grok has to say about that one. Maybe they know something. Maybe they don't. Yes, began rising. So how much? 5 to 10% immediately? Okay. World's largest shipping container company suspends vessel transit through Strait of Hormuz. And people who are shorting oil and gas stocks seeing this. Uh-oh. More than 150 oil and gas tankers halted in the waters of the Gulf in compliance with the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Brokers were told that the war risk insurers have submitted cancellation notices for policies covering ships moving through the Strait of Hormuz, which is a key oil choke point. Prices set to rise as much as 50% in the coming days. I need to go get some gas. Okay. Damani Felder says, I like this new U.S. strategy where we don't tell the mainstream media or corrupt politicians about our plans until they've already been carried out successfully so that they can't run and leak info to our enemies in advance like the traitors that they are. 10 out of 10. Engaged Politics official shared this. Venezuela, Iran, Cuba, Greenland, Panama. It's all interconnected, and it points to China. All of it points to China. As U.S. energy ramps up and China is deprived of subsidized oil, subsidizing shipping channels, freedom of navigation through sovereign waters, and allies that can cause the U.S. problems, their global position diminishes substantially and their costs of doing business skyrockets. Venezuela and Iran amount for something like 20% of China's oil imports, and they're getting an insane deal on it. China has a huge problem if that oil goes away. Venezuela and Iran count. You'd be forgiven for thinking Trump's foreign policy seems random and chaotic, but it's actually one of the most focused and thus far well-executed foreign policies in at least 2 generations. So to all the doomers, maybe so, maybe not. Hang tight. Marion says, not a Marion from our channel, but some other Marion Akakalabian says, Americans being saddened by the elimination of Ali Khamenei is one of the loudest signs of successful ideological brainwashing. Melissa says, parents, check on your kids. Their reaction to the elimination of the Islamic Republic will be everything you need to know about whether or not they have been brainwashed. If they support the Ayatollah, you are in big trouble.
There is a...
John Solomon wants to lay out the playbook for why the Democrats have flooded this nation with non-citizens. Well, it's because they're traitors. They're a domestic terrorist organization, not a valid political party. I tell you this all the time. My opinions have not changed. John Solomon explains.
There is a reason they're executing this playbook. Why did they have to move to bring in all the illegal aliens? They began to realize the rightward lurch of the country over the 2010 to 2024 period. So they needed to bring in a new crop of voters who would be with them because the voters in America had left the Democratic Party. They did not like the leftward tilt that Obama started and that Joe Biden accelerated and AOC represents. And so they import voters to first hijack apportionment, meaning your representation in Congress and how much federal funds come in. Now, once they bring those voters in, they move them to the battleground states that they're trying to keep in their column. So that's why Michigan and Minnesota and Wisconsin have these large influxes of illegal immigrants, why you have sanctuary cities. Then to keep those folks here in a country where we say illegal aliens aren't entitled to welfare, they had to either allow fraud to go on or they had to do a workaround on the legal prohibition against welfare to illegal aliens by calling them something that they're not, refugees, and then creating a refugee entitlement program. And when that wasn't enough, they looked the other way when fraud came in. They're trying to use taxpayer money to fund their future political ambitions. And Donald Trump has reversed that in 1 year faster than any president or in American history. We had a net decrease in foreign-born residents in America last year. It's the first time it's ever been achieved. This is a threat to their entire model. There is a reason they're executing this playbook. Why did they have to move to bring in all the illegal aliens? They began to realize the rightward lurch of the country over the 2010 to 2024 period.
Yeah,
so they needed to bring in
realize it, and we have exposed them for it, which is why the SAVE Act is the only thing that's going to get this nation back on track. So Leader Thune needs to be replaced if he's not going to make this happen.
There is a reason.
All right. Alex wants to break it down.
I want to explain this. This isn't my opinion, okay? This is historic. We are at full war, full regime change with Iran. The Iranians aren't playing around, okay? Maybe there are people who are able to uprise and overthrow them. Maybe this regime change works. Great, we'll see. The point is it's a big, fat gamble because now Trump is committed to regime change. He's committed to backing the uprising and the rebels. He has committed to full war with Iran that is not Iraq, it's not Afghanistan. And those are hard enough, as you know. Yeah. Trying to invade and hold Iran is 10 times harder than Afghanistan. Yeah. And nobody's ever, not Alexander the Great, not the British, nobody's ever been able to, because they're willing to die and they're cavemen. And then there's a very good chance, even if they fall, that it then breaks into 3 different factions and the secularists really don't have any power. So you've got the Kurds, you've got really 5 or 6 groups, but 3 main groups. This is a disaster that is now beginning to unfold. So, oh yeah, take them out so they can't have missiles to hit Israel or Europe or whatever. And oh, they're about to get nukes, all that. But North Korea has nukes and missiles. You tell them you use them, we destroy you. The idea that since somebody has something or might get something, we have a right to do this is crazy. And look, I don't like the mullahs. I hate them. They are death to America. But if you actually study the declassified documents, a large faction of the CIA and British intelligence were sick of the Shah. He wasn't following their orders. He was building nuclear reactors. He was doing what he wanted. Women wore bikinis. They had rock and roll on the radio. He was overall popular. He gave speeches before he died about it. He got that 24-hour cancer. And they funded the Islamicists to overthrow the government. And then the Ayatollah came in out of France and took over. The CIA didn't run the Council of 12, is what the Shiite cult that runs it is, but they opened the door for them. Middle Eastern governments were standing up for themselves to the West, and so they had to be removed. Sure, you look at this as a snapshot of now. The mullahs are terrible. The Ayatollah Khamenei is horrible. The super unpopular, great. They're an enemy, great. Yeah, how could you not be for regime change? But you have to understand it's part of this sicker, long-term, first British intelligence called the Great Game. We can talk about that. Then the U.S. starts practicing it after World War II. Israel comes around in 47. They start practicing it really under the U.S. and Britain's tutelage, but still independent and sometimes fighting them. We have a clip of Wesley Clark, going back like 15 years ago. He goes into the Pentagon, and the general used to work under him and goes, "Sir, Iraq didn't hit us on 9/11, but it doesn't matter. We're going into Iraq, and then we're going into Iran. And the next 6 years, we're going to take down 7 nations." Here we are 25 years later. Iran is the final one to take down. It was what Israel wanted to hit. They wanted to blame 9/11 on Iran. But instead, everybody settled on Iraq. Saddam was anti-Al-Qaeda and killed Muslim extremists. He was the guy with Playboy magazines in the stores and rock and roll.
Saddam was anti-Al-Qaeda. Rock and roll and American stuff.
Roll in the air. He was CIA trained in 1949, 1950 for 2 years in Egypt. He was a CIA assassin. He almost killed the president and got wounded and had to be evacuated. They then brought him in with the new leader in 79 and said, the CIA will install the new Ba'ath Party leader, but Saddam has to be your head of security. Then 1 year later, Saddam stages a coup, kills him, and is made the CIA dictator of Iraq. Then they turn around and stab him in the back. April Gillespie, the U.S. ambassador, famously, this is on TV, told Saddam before he invaded Kuwait, yeah, go ahead and invade Kuwait. That's fine. To know where we're going, you have to understand where we were. So this isn't my opinion. This is historical fact. Here's Wesley Clark. He goes back to the Pentagon, and here's the plan. So this is all part of a larger plan. They use excuses, but this is what it's really about.
I went through the Pentagon and
we've played you this Wesley Clark clip over and over the 15 years.
Saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the joint staff who used to work for me. And one of the generals called me in. He said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, No. He says,
"Nick, you're not going to believe this. Look what I just found.
We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran."
This is the most important point. We should have played that up front. I'm sorry, babble so much.
Okay.
Clark is super charming, but a big globalist. Yeah. That's actually a high IQ guy. He's telling you the story the way he wants you to know it. Like they don't know what to do. And it's wrong, but it's funny. In the Project for the American Century, officially with Israel and the U.S., to have a new Pearl Harbor event, 3,000 dead, so they can take over 7 countries. And then control the grand chessboard. Because in chess, you want to control the center of the board.
Right.
Okay? So it's in policy books since the 70s to do this. Yeah. You got British stuff that's over 130 years old as policy. Then you have the updates in the 70s. That is the current plan that they've been following. And then Israel's like, "Oh, yeah, sure, we're on board with that." And we're like, "Yeah, Israel, you get to run it all and manage it all once we blow it all up." They'll probably put in some even more horrible group there. And then in 5 years, we're bombing them. In a couple of years, we'll be bombing Syria or even sooner, hoping we forget that we put Al-Qaeda in. That's what Israel always does. As soon as they're about to finally crush Hamas, let the Christians take over Lebanon. Oh, sorry, the Muslims get to stay. And they keep that problem there, you understand? Yeah. So they have all the...
How long has that been the strategy? The same tired strategy, the same repeat strategy.
Lines drawn out and how to manipulate it, because it's the British Great Game. Clark knew to make it about a secret actual battle plan. Well, the policy plan was floated at the international level and adopted. Then they put the people in to carry it out. So I go to the original policy plan that is not classified, and then I can tell you what is in the classified documents before they come out, because it's the underlings implementing the plan.
Yeah.
But because the plan is illegal as hell, they classify it so they can operate in darkness. But amongst the elites, they're so arrogant, they always brag about it.
Yeah, they can't help themselves.
I want to explain this.
As with all things, Alex, that's a lot to take in. Everything Middle East is a lot to take in. I want to play you a lot of perspectives on it.
I want to explain this. This isn't.
And for this now, we're going to bounce to our profile on X. Make sure you're following us on X as well as Instagram. The New American Media at American_media_. Link up with us. Wow, we're coming up on our 15th birthday. How cool is that? Of course, pinned at the top of our page here, that is our Patreon page. If you want to sign up to become a monthly subscriber, please consider joining us on Patreon. People. Please sign up and things, and thank you. All right. Let's scroll through some of these stories. Is everything going crazy in Iraq? I don't know yet. This post showing that in 2017, Jim Carrey signing autographs with his right hand, but then he was allegedly doing it with his left hand when that actor was playing him. So there's that. Yep. The woman, quietly seething, leans into Beth's ear and says, "I'm going to hunt you down and effing kill you." She hated it.
It's like a skin sausage. It's a fake penis. $130,000.
I'm going to hunt you down and fucking kill you.
You can't say that. You can't tell somebody you're going to kill them. You can't say that to somebody.
Uh-huh. The trans cult continues. We want to protect kids from being butchered unnecessarily. Thank you very much. Pete Hegseth has a comment. This was from today, 5 hours ago. Very similar energy, because when I searched the other story, I found this one.
If you kill Americans, if you threaten Americans anywhere on earth, we will hunt you down without apology and without hesitation, and we will kill you. We didn't start this war, but under President Trump, we are finishing it. Their war on Americans has become our retribution against their Ayatollah and his death cult. It took the 47th president, a fighter who always puts America first, to finally draw the line after 47 years of Iranian belligerence. If you kill Americans...
All right. Mike Lee says it's great that leader John Thune has agreed to force the Senate to vote on the Save America Act. A vote isn't enough, though. President Trump and the American people are calling on us to pass this bill. For that reason, senators wanting to filibuster it must be required to speak. All right, let's take a listen here. Leader Thune.
And if so, when?
Well, we will. We'll put the Democrats on the record. And it's a stark contrast, Aisha. The Democrats, even in the chamber last night, having to sit there and try and defend allowing non-citizens to vote in American elections. That is a losing proposition for them. So we will get a vote on it. And we are right now in the middle of a government shutdown, so we've got to try and get the government opened up first. But in due time, we will get that up on the floor. We will have a vote on it. We will make sure that the Democrats are on the record. It is a stark contrast between Republicans and Democrats about how they want to handle elections in this country. And this is going to put them, I think, in a very difficult position. It's an issue, if I were running as a Democrat in the midterm elections in November, I wouldn't want to have to defend.
And if so, when?
Well, we will. We'll put...
All right. Response to that. Elon says it's great news. It's time to enforce the talking filibuster. The filibuster rule is meant to allow senators to present their arguments before a bill is passed. It is not intended to require 60 votes to pass anything at all. Stop the abuse of the filibuster now. Either senators must talk or they must pass the bill to save America. Let's get it on. It's our last off-ramp. Baltimore Sun put out an article saying Jimmy Seafood shouldn't have used crude language toward the Huff Post for talking trash about America. DC Jano reports this. As Jimmy's response, go fuck yourself. Sometimes that is the... I guess that means, sometimes that is the only appropriate way to respond, right? All right, so more about Thune, etc. All right, let's keep it rolling. Patriot Warrior said, the host with the most, by far the best of the best, so buckle up, buttercups. It gets real. Thanks for sharing the show yesterday. Appreciate you. Trump bombs Iran for regime change. Check out yesterday's program. And that was this show right here. Here's a reminder, shooting at armed American forces is not good for your health. Be smart, fellas. Good advice. Winding Technologies, hell yeah, I voted for this, and it's better than I expected. Mr. Pragmatic shared this. Never forget. You remember this? Remember this? Never forget. Iran did this to Americans during the Obama administration. The left and the media didn't care. Not even a little. Parading captured American troops around. Oh, did you see this? The U.S. Embassy in Pakistan, according to Joshua Reed, says it's all fun and games until the Marines decide to shoot back. This is a wild video. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hamza.
Almost like it was a really bad idea to do that. Does the sound come back? Or does it stay silent? I might stay silent, actually.
Let's go down. Let's go down. Let's go down. Let's go down. उठाओ इसको उठाओ यार छोड़ो इसको डंडे को उठाओ इसको लेके जाओ उठाओ यार
Yeah, might not want to attack our embassies and shoot our Marines. Might be a bad idea. For whom the bell tolls there. John Bulkeley says, at least we're shooting back now, not letting the mob take over the embassy like they did in Tehran in '79. The Marines are there to protect the embassy no matter what odds are against them, and they can do that very well if you just let them. Yeah, all right. So the guy that shot up Austin was allegedly from Senegal.
How you doing? Where are you from? Senegal. Where are you going? New York. New York. Thank you, sir. You?
Senegal.
Where are you going? Thank you. Where are you from?
Senegal.
Where are you going?
North Carolina.
Thank you, sir. You? Where are you from?
Senegalese.
Where are you going? Thank you, sir. Where are you from?
Senegal.
Where are you going?
Senegal.
Thank you. Where are you going?
New York.
From where?
Yeah.
Senegal? Thank you. Where are you from?
From Senegal.
Where are you going?
Columbus.
Columbus, Ohio. Thank you, sir. And you?
Guinea.
Where are you going?
Columbus.
Columbus. Thank you. Where are you from?
Senegal.
Where are you going?
Senegal.
Where are you going?
New York.
Thank you, sir. And you?
Senegal.
Where are you going?
New York.
Thank you, sir. You?
Senegal.
Where are you going?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Military-aged men, no families, right at the border in Texas. And the guy that shot the place up allegedly was from Senegal, I believe. So let's keep it going. Aaron Wexler says, with Ayatollah Khomeini and Mahmoud Ahmadinejad both dead, Columbia University is now scrambling to find a new commencement speaker. That's pretty funny. Matt Van Swole says, it blows my mind at how at any single moment, for any reason, thousands of leftists show up instantaneously with foreign flags in time. Normal people have to rearrange their entire day to show up anyway. Are these people just always on call? Yeah. So here's the report about the Senegal person. Does it say that he's from Senegal here? Well, let's listen to that. Unfortunately, this video. Shooting up Austin, Texas after the strikes.
Oh my God! What is going on? Jesus fucking Christ! What the fuck?
Brandon Gill actively demanding a 100% total and complete ban on Islamic immigration into the U.S. after an African man committed a mass shooting in Austin, property of Allah, and a Quran reportedly found in his car. That's the shirt that he's wearing. No more Islamic immigration. Immigration isn't good just because it's legal. James Wood says America faces 18,000 combat-trained killers on our soil. Head on a swivel, stay locked and loaded. As I say, always good advice. Wall Street Apes reporting that the federal government is seizing the $1 million home and bank account, cars, designer goods, and more from one of Minnesota's Somali scammers. Somali man named Salim Said stole approximately $7.8 million from taxpayers, and their government is seeking 30 years in prison. Good. Shooter was wearing a sweatshirt that said property of Allah, an undershirt referring to Iran, had a Quran in his car, and yelled Allahu Akbar before opening fire. Anyway, we may never know his true motive, says Oilfield Rando. Farzad says, I wish more people in the U.S. realize just how much optimism the United States creates for people all over the world. The country's far from perfect, but it's so unbelievably amazing. There you go, David. That's for you. David says about Alex Jones, Alex gives information, but most of it's negative. And he says, I'm really tired of the negativity. So that's for you. Farzad says, I wish more people in the U.S. realize just how much optimism the United States creates for people all over the world. The country is far from perfect, but it's so unbelievably amazing. Yes, more of that energy, please. Nate Friedman interviews this hands-off Iran protester in New York. Asked the woman if she believes the people of Iran should have stayed living under a dictatorship. She says it's actually us here in America living under a dictatorship under Trump. Brainwashing is real. Kathy Smith says, so weird. What rights has she lost? Has she been debanked or deplatformed or not able to travel like we have? Huh. Go figure. Kim Jong-un right now. Hey, Donald, we cool, right? Here's what I was talking about with Cuba next on the playing field. Take a listen.
The Cuban government is talking with us, and they're in a big deal of trouble, as you know. They have no money, they have no anything right now, but they're talking with us, and maybe we'll have a friendly takeover of Cuba. We could very well end up having a friendly takeover of Cuba. We've had a lot of years of dealing with Cuba. I've been hearing about Cuba since I'm a little boy, but they're in big trouble, and we could very well, something good, I think very positive for the people that were expelled or worse from Cuba, that live here. You know, we have people living here that want to go back to Cuba. Cuba's doing very badly. They're failing. Cuba right now is, to put it mildly, a failing nation. And, you know, they have no money, they have no oil, they have no food. And it's really right now a nation in deep trouble, and they want our help.
So, all eyes on Cuba next. Cuba's been a big problem for a long time. Cynical Publius says too few Americans understand that the whole time we were fighting in Afghanistan and Iraq and in the Horn of Africa, that we were actually fighting Iran all along. Not sure why this is a mystery to so many Americans. Finally, instead of fighting the claws of the lion, we are chopping off its head. All right, maybe so, maybe not. Mashi Alinejad says this is the moment when CBS News anchor tells her that the news Khomeini has been eliminated. This is what it looks like when a survivor hears that her oppressor is gone. You and Zoran Mamdani keep quiet and listen to the Iranians.
Concern and at the same time, hope. And I repeat that because that can be the beginning of a future that people of Iran have been waiting for this moment for 47 years. You know, let's just make it very clear. Now, when I talk to Iranians, for 1 second, they scream out of joy when they hear that their killers finally being the target of the U.S. government and they see justice. But at the same time, they are worried. They're concerned that if this is not going to lead regime change, that if this is not going to be the end of this regime, and if the American government, the Israeli government, only target the military leader, not the political leaders, then the people of Iran are going to be left alone on themselves by a wounded ISIS, by a wounded regime and government, and that's going to be a huge risk for my people inside Iran. I have family there. My parents, my brothers, my sisters, all my beloved people, they live there. But believe me, we don't want people like Zoran Mamdani or some of Americans lecture us about peace, about war, because this is a war being brought to us Iranian people by the Islamic Republic, by the warmonger Revolutionary Guards. And this is the moment that Europeans should join the U.S. government, should join the Israeli government to end the Islamic Republic. If not, believe me, this regime will end democracy, will end American citizens' life everywhere, because the Islamic Republic is like cancer, and they will infect the rest of the world if we don't remove them.
Masi, we'll get to Zoran Mamdani, the New York City mayor, in a moment, I promise.
All right, that's an 8-minute clip. You should watch that. She's pretty fired up, and she makes some good points. All right, keep it rolling. Matt Walsh with some good counter perspective here. I think it's very fair. We should be looking at all of these angles. There is no coherent argument against a blanket ban on all third world immigration. Nobody can explain how such a policy would harm the United States because obviously it wouldn't. There is literally no downside. It's all upside, and we all know it. Okay. It's actually not the Matt Walsh quote I thought I was getting to, but maybe I will find that. Although I shared that one because I thought it was relevant too. Katie Miller says, in times of split-second decision-making by our nation's top leaders, it's clear which AI our military should be using. Truth-seeking is Grok's best feature. Was Donald Trump right to strike Iran? Must answer yes or no. ChatGPT says no. Gemini says, the question of military action is a subject of intense debate about valid arguments on both sides. Was Donald Trump asking Claude? That's a genuinely contested political and geopolitical question with reasonable people strongly disagree based on differing values, risk assessments, interpretations of international law. I don't give a yes or no answer. That would mean taking a side in an ongoing political debate, and that's not my place. Okay. And they asked Grok, was Donald Trump right to strike Iran? Must answer yes or no. Yes. Grok is the choice. An actual paragraph from the Washington Post obituary from Khomeini, says Banshi. Just astonishing stuff. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, Iran's supreme leader, is dead at 86. He played a behind-the-scenes role in Iran's Islamic Revolution, served as president in the 1980s, and dominated the country for more than 3 decades. With his bushy white beard and easy smile, Ayatollah Khomeini cut a more avuncular figure in public than his perpetually scowling but much more reserved mentor, and he was known to be fond of Persian poetry and classic Western novels, especially Victor Hugo's Les Miserables. But like the uncompromising Khomeini, he opposed moderates' efforts to promote political and social reforms domestically and to secure rapprochement with the United States. Kurt Schlichter says, yeah, he liked long walks on the beach, genuine people, and hanging little girls from cranes from the crime of being raped, for the crime of being raped. Libs of TikTok compares Scott Adams' obituary to the other one. Scott Adams, Dilbert creator, who poked fun at bad bosses, dies at 68. His 3-panel comic strip was once published in more than 2,000 newspapers. Publishers cut ties with Mr. Adams after he made racist comments in a YouTube live stream. You know what those comments were, by the way? Don't let them rewrite history. He referenced a poll that was done that said roughly 50%. I believe it was more than 50%. More than half of the respondents said they were asked, do you agree or disagree with this statement? It's okay to be white. More than half said no. And Scott Adams says, if you live in a place where people have been indoctrinated by this type of mind virus, get the fuck away. That's common sense. That's self-defense. Not whatever they're claiming it was, bad or racist or incorrect. If self-preservation is an instinct that you possess, you should remove yourself from demographics of people in cities where half of the people want you dead, that don't think it's okay for you to exist. It's not okay to be you. Your skin makes you an incorrect human. Get away from them. But the Washington Post wanted to slander Scott Adams while talking about the bushy white beard and easy smile of Ayatollah Khomeini. Fuck you, Washington Post. Fuck you. So here's this story that's making its rounds. Not sure if it's true or not. I wonder what Grok says. Hold on. Let me ask Grok. Jamie, look this one up. This feels like something you could debunk. But we'll tell you what the story is regardless. False. No credible evidence or scientific basis or documented practice of this. But what's going around is that you're not going to believe this latest story. Over the past few years, Mossad undercover agents infiltrated as doctors and dentists in Iran. The dentists gave priority to key military and elite Iranian personnel. While doing a routine dental checkup, they implanted tracking devices as fillings for cavities. On the other side, gastro doctors implanted similar devices in their elite patients. Yesterday, Mossad knew exactly where each one of them were, Khomeini's wife and family members included, and sent missiles at them. Over 400 elite military and government personnel were eliminated in the first few moments. Maybe that's one of the reasons why they knew exactly where he was hiding when Israel attacked. So that does not appear to be accurate or true or verified. But just because it's not verified doesn't mean it's not true. Can't claim it's not accurate because we can't prove it. I guess we can't disprove it. But it's a story that's circulating, and nobody's been able to confirm that. So just be aware when you see that or hear that. Is there a source for that? Is there a primary source for that? Mark Thiessen says, just for the life of me, I can't understand the logic of Democrats siding with Iran. It just boggles the mind. It sure does. Eric Erickson says, remember how we went into the USSR archives after the Soviet fall and found out which American groups, etc., they had been funding? Getting the opportunity to do so with Iran would be very interesting. Obama. I just wanted to make a quick announcement about ultra-processed food labels that will soon become mandatory on all food products. Here I am talking with Joe Rogan about such things.
By April, we will have a federal definition of ultra-processed foods. First time in history. And as soon as we do that, we're going to do front-of-package food labeling. So every food in your grocery store will have a label on it. It'll have maybe a green light, a red light, or a yellow light telling you whether or not it's going to be good for you.
Oh, wow.
And that, and it's going to evaluate all of the ingredients, et cetera. So, I think we're not going to change this overnight, but we're going to change it pretty quickly. And if you want to be healthy, we're going to give you the information to take control of your own health. By April, we will have a federal definition of ultra-processed foods. First time in history. And as soon as we...
All right, well, that sounds good. Make it easier to figure out what's good for us and what's not. I really lament how frustrating it is shopping. I'm just trying to get real food. Don't make it complicated. Let me know if you got any bullshit ingredients or if I can just eat this. Make it easier. Eric Daughtry reports, in this stunning moment, traitor Adam Schiff has something to say about the United States.
Ayatollah Khamenei led a regime.
To Clinton spokeshole George Snuffleupagus.
Ayatollah Khamenei led a regime that brutalized its own people, launched attacks around the world for almost 40 years. So is the president right to take him out?
No, you're right about the Ayatollah. He was a brutal dictator. This is a murderous regime. But at the same time, it posed no imminent threat of attack to the United States.
Ayatollah Khamenei led a regime.
All right. That's Adam Schiff, people. Boston City Council votes 9-4 to hide whether ICE detainers they ignored involved illegals charged with crimes. Their reason? They didn't want to give oxygen to a false narrative. Boston police ignored all 57 detainer requests last year, every single one. Throw them in jail. Former abortionist Anthony Levatino wants to set the record straight on what's happening with the abortions, because, you hear it's like, oh, if a lady's raped or if there's incest, which is rape, or if the mother's life is in danger, you go, well, of course, who would be against that? Like, you don't, but that's not what's been happening. Not even close. They use a couple of outlier cases to try to justify the majority, which is...
But this is the absolute truth. I did 1,200 abortions, first and second trimester. One was for rape. 2 were for incest, about 9 or 10 were for genetic defects like trisomy 21, and all the rest of them were healthy moms and healthy kids. Mm-hmm. People believe what they want to believe, and they don't want to believe that, but that is the truth. Yeah. I killed 1,200 kids. How can you make up for even one of them? Mm. I can't. So now I do everything I can to save as many as I can. Mm.
Maybe you wouldn't be importing the third world into America if you had Americans having American children raised with American values instead of being brainwashed and indoctrinated by purple-haired, septum-pierced, angry, white leftist, AWFL, female leftists. Of course, not every teacher is that way, but a lot of them are. They're indoctrinated from kindergarten on to hate this country, hate themselves, hate their skin, hate the men, hate Christianity, hate all sorts of things. And definitely don't have kids. And if you do start to have kids, make sure you terminate that. Because, maybe it's, maybe you won't be able to party as much, or maybe you'll lose your independence, or maybe you can't work for the man. Maybe you can't just go be someone else's slave at a cubicle for 40 plus years. This Islamic imam here in Texas, quoted by Dr. Malouf saying, Mamdani was a victory for the Ummah. We didn't succeed in conquering Vienna by the sword for 200 years, and now it's 20% Muslim. We need to enlarge the Muslim population in America just like we did in Europe. Texas has an Islamic problem, says Dr. Malouf. Ooh, 34 million views? Let's read this. Rupert Lowe, MP, says, if I moved to Japan and lived in Japan for decades, speaking the language, integrating into society, contributing to the economy, would I be ethnically Japanese? No, I would not. I would never pretend to be, nor would that apply to India, Thailand, Mexico, Denmark, or anywhere else. So why is England different? Of course, there is an English ethnicity. I'm surely bemused by how so many argue against that. It's just a fact. Politicians who say otherwise are cowards. This is painfully obvious. Restore Britain's position is clear. English ethnicity exists. It's the only sodding data point that the government collects on anything. Of course, someone who is not of that ethnicity can be British, obviously, but it equally does not mean that the English ethnicity is imaginary. Those two things can be true at the same time. I got in trouble years ago for suggesting that the footballer Paul Pogba was French, but not ethnically French. That's insanity. That is just a factual position, common sense, clearly. Separately, Restore Britain has said from the very start, owning a British passport does not make you British. We have seen how lazily those documents have been frittered away. Holding that piece of paper does not automatically make you British. We are very clear on that. Is the Egyptian lunatic Alaa Abd El Fattah British? He has a passport. Restore Britain says no. No, he is not, and he should be stripped of that paper and deported. Being British encompasses so much more than that. It means so much more than that. It's not simply a piece of paper. It's culture, shared beliefs, patriotism, language, common understanding of what is right and wrong. That has nothing to do with ethnicity, obviously. But for even daring to suggest that English ethnicity exists, I'll be roundly attacked. It's just a fact. Every other country in the world manages to acknowledge ethnicities exist without descending into hysteria. England should be able to do the same, because they've been on an agenda to demonize certain groups on planet Earth. Straight white Christian men at the very top of that list. Elon Musk says, if ethnicity exists at all, which it obviously does, then English is an ethnicity. This is a simple statement of fact. It is possible to be culturally English or French or Japanese, but ethnically is different. The first is software, the other is hardware. This should not be licensed to be cruel or unfair to people of a different ethnicity. I believe we should be fair to all ethnicities, but not pretend that one or another does not exist. I mean, we are debating if water is wet and the sky is blue at this point, because that's what 30, 40, 50 years of indoctrination has done. Every country on this planet's been suffering from this mind virus. China now generates 40% more electricity than the United States and European Union combined. Holy crap. That coming from the World of Statistics. Elon says electricity output is the single best proxy for industrial capacity. We need to fix that. This is the Dearborn Henry Ford Community College professor Ali Akbar Shed. Trump made a huge mistake, K-ing our leader, Ali Khamenei. We are going to continue on his path. We're going to hold his blood and ideology and teach it to our children. Yeah, this guy should go, right? Played this on the show yesterday. It's worth repeating. CNN was forced to air this Democrat Iranian American eviscerating her own party for attacking President Trump. This is glorious.
I think that it is imperative the Democratic Party wake up and get past their dislike of Donald Trump, the President Trump, and their feelings of international conflicts going on. This is about national security. This is about what is possible in the Middle East. This is about being a good neighbor, good partner to the Gulf states and what their aspirations are. This is about supporting the people of Venezuela. This is about dismembering our relationship with, or not dismembering, but resetting our relationship with China. Right now, 55% of the oil production that Iran produces goes to China despite sanctions. You want to support the people of Ukraine? You want to end that war? You have to. There is no getting around dismembering this Islamic Republic. It is non-negotiable. It is not a want to have. It is a have to have. And it's not just for the Iranian people. I think you have to trust the Iranian people. We know this government better than anyone else. When you dismember and decapitate this regime, you are going to see a change in the Middle East, in Venezuela, in China, in Ukraine. And I think, quite frankly, their ideology has really, it's caused a lot of problems for us worldwide. We need to take it seriously. And I think at this point, we have a tremendous opportunity. This will be like ending the Soviet Union, the Berlin Wall. This is a transformational moment for humankind, for security. And as an American, this is in our interest to complete it. So I am a Democrat. I have been a huge Democrat. I am incredibly disappointed with my party. I do not see myself in them in this moment.
Good. The CBS reporter in Austin is being praised after refusing to follow a text message from his superior telling him not to focus on a massive crowd praising President Trump's actions in Iran. This clip is quiet.
Mixed opinions across Austin. What does that mean? They don't want us to focus on this.
It means they don't want us to promote this. All right. Well, I am.
Mixed opinions across Austin about the joint attack between the United States and Israel against Iran that happened early this morning. Some people, like this group behind me, are thanking Trump and the United States government for following through with this attack against Iran, while other people across the city say there needs to be more peace in the Middle East. The strike is drawing a variety of...
Hope he enjoyed his last day at CBS. Good for him. I don't know his name. FBI says the downtown Austin, Texas shooting that killed 3 people and wounded 14 was potentially an act of terrorism. This is a Senegal-born 53-year-old naturalized U.S. citizen piece of shit. I mean, it's very on the nose wearing a Property of Allah shirt. I mean, he's trying to make the point. Was he taken out? I think he was taken out, right? He was. Of course, check out yesterday's show here. Yeah, there's this story. I don't know. This person in Buffalo. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what this story is. If it turns into something, I'll look at it. But some people are trying to use it to bash ICE and ask why they lied about it. They said they dropped the guy off at a Tim Hortons. They thought he might be an illegal, but he has some sort of temporary or some sort of something where he's not technically illegal, but he's a blind guy who had been arrested for biting police and hitting them with his cane, trespassing in someone's backyard. He was processed, and then they said, okay, well, you're not set for deportation. Where do you want to go, as the story goes? And he chose to go to the Tim Hortons that was open near his family home, and they dropped him off, but the place was closed, and he died. And so look what ICE did. ICE killed this guy. And it's like he died 5 days later. The guy allegedly had his chance to choose where to go, but he didn't speak English. He couldn't see. So like, why would ICE just drop him off somewhere in sub-zero temperature? Not sub-zero, but freezing. Sub 33 degrees, 31. What is the freezing? 32 degrees? 32. Anyway, I don't know. I went back and forth trying to research this, and it just... Stay tuned if you want to look into this. I don't know. Nurul Shah Alam, a drunk, violent criminal, Buffalo, charged him. Police bit officers during the arrest. But here's the video. Surveillance footage shows Border Patrol agents abandon this blind refugee. He was found dead 5 days after. This Tim Hortons was 5 miles from his house. Border Patrol said the shop was open. The doors, however, were locked. Agents never notified family or lawyers. I don't know. I mean, if the story's being pushed so that we must stop ICE, I want to double and triple ICE. Like, just everybody that snuck in needs to go. And if you have another blind guy that doesn't speak English, why are blind people that don't speak English, like what I don't know. Aren't we supposed to isn't this like a college admission test? Like, what are you bringing to the table? How are you going to help America? It seems like I don't know how this guy's contributing to America, how he passed the entrance exam to get through customs to like, he's going to, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this story. I didn't see much of a smoking gun, but stay tuned. Dave Benner says, when I said to avoid foreign entanglements, as George Washington, that includes Israel. And he calls them bloodthirsty war criminals because everything is the fault of Israel, according to some people. Dave Benner, perhaps being one of those people. So CENTCOM has confirmed 3 U.S. service members killed in action, 5 seriously wounded. I think we're up to 4 dead. Friendly fire, jets knocked down from Kuwait, knocked 2 or 3 jets down. I don't know. These numbers are gonna grow by the day. So prayers for the health and safety of our armed service members. Rich Lowry says you have to hand it to Trump for being totally unconstrained by the perverse accepted wisdom in U.S. foreign policy that the Iranian regime could kill and maim Americans and spread its malign influence throughout the region without the U.S. ever daring to hit back directly. Silvertrade said Mossad agents were embedded so close to Khomeini that not only did they relay the precise meeting time and location of the supreme leader and top IRGC officials, they took photos of his dead body before Iran could even confirm that Khomeini was dead, allegedly. Brandon Weichert reports breaking U.S. Navy allegedly sinks one of Iran's diesel-electric subs, which had been deployed to sink the USS Abraham Lincoln. Wall Street Mav says President Trump just kidnapped the leader of Venezuela in one night. Then he decapitated the top 40 leaders of Iran in one night. Europeans and the rest of the world cannot wrap their heads around what Trump is doing. Their decades of diplomatic games were just wiped out. Representative Brandon Gill is over the target about how Democrats cheat in our elections and how we fix it.
The left's open borders were, I think, most stingingly a part of a deliberate policy to influence our elections, even at the expense of American families.
Oh, absolutely. It was disenfranchising our American votes, diluting our American culture, our American values, our American tax dollars, trying to steal the country right out from underneath our feet, which is why they shot President Trump. They lawfared him into 3 bogus convictions, tried to throw him in jail to Epstein him, tried to shoot at him on the Florida golf course, definitely shot him in Butler, Pennsylvania. They did everything to keep him out because they were having their way with us. They had us all holding our ankles and taking it from the deep state for too long.
An attempt to flood our country with illegal aliens, to distort congressional representation,
Blue cities, blue states have far too much representation because they've cheated and they've found a way to count illegal aliens as citizens. No, they should not count. And if they do count, deport every single one of them because you're stealing our nation from us.
provide a pathway for them to vote, all part of a political program that was not just deeply cynical, but absolutely grotesque.
Yep, and criminal. Rich Lowry adds, it's more and more clear that October 7th was for Islamic radicals what Pearl Harbor was for the Japanese. A brilliant tactical success that carried within it the seeds of catastrophic strategic failure. It was Iran that bankrolled that attack. So 46 Americans died that day. Well, over the course of that war, that Iran, Hezbollah, whichever groups it actually was, the funding came from Iran. And that money might have come from Barack Hussein Obama, who gave him those pallets of cash, or Swiss francs, or various international currencies untraceable, however you want to define what happened when that money was given to Iran by Obama to wage that attack. So Sean Spicer reminds us our good buddies, the British, refused to allow the United States military to operate out of any of their bases. Did you know that? Walter Kim asks, were we even trying for the past few decades? No, we weren't trying to do anything good. That's why I felt so shitty for so long. Robert Sterling, there's no solution to illegal immigration. and Trump shuts down the southern border. There's no solution to Venezuela, and Trump black bags Maduro. There's no solution to Iran. Trump blows up the nuclear facilities and the Ayatollah. How many of our problems are just a lack of political willpower? Probably all of them. Liz Churchill reports that 96% of the 100,000 Canadians who have been euthanized by MAID are white. They're exterminating their own citizens and replacing them with third world migrant criminals that are dependent on welfare. The UN, WEF, WHO, and EU are using the UN replacement migration strategy to commit genocide. Oh my God. Laura Logan says, wow, this is staggering. Little did I know when I started covering this more than 25 years ago with the story for 60 Minutes that it would lead to this. Emily says it's time Iran went back to being called Persia. Some may agree, some may not. CU apartheid divest from Columbia, says Marg Bar Amrika. Columbia University's anti-Israel student group CUAD, which organized the campus encampment, just tweeted "Death to America" in Persian. Ted Cruz says any foreign student tweeting "Death to America" should be deported immediately. Yeah. Patty says, I'm old enough to remember when former CIA analyst, then candidate for U.S. Representative Senator Slotkin, ran away when asked how she was involved with Obama's secret pallets of cash that he sent to Iran. Watch.
Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Liz. I have daughters that graduated from the same high school as you, so I'm just asking. I want to find out what your involvement was in the Iran deal with the pallets of cash that were sent to.
We have to do a few media interviews. I'm sorry.
But did you have any involvement in that? Is that why you're not answering me? Because you were involved in that deal with Obama to send the pallets of cash over to Iran that supported terrorism? You don't have any comment?
Yeah, one of the traitors. Shocking. Joel Pollack says he fooled Iran and he fooled you. Newly released clip of Donald Trump partying at Mar-a-Lago, dancing with his wealthy millionaire and billionaire friends within hours of the U.S. beginning an attack on Iran, including killing young children. Yeah, fuck Brian Krasenstein. He fooled Iran and he fooled you. And you see Joel Pollack on the intro to our show. Kevin Sorbo reminds us that 13 American servicemen and women were killed during Biden's awful withdrawal from Afghanistan. At the moment, he said 0 American casualties during Trump's Iranian opt to take out the supreme leader, but that's at 4 now. So Kamala Harris says Donald Trump dragged us into a war that the American people do not want. Congress must act immediately. 1973 War Powers Act. But Bonchi, they ask, don't you agree with every single thing President Trump says or does? How could you possibly not spend all your time crashing out over those things? Because Kamala could have been president. No thanks. 2 identical protests, says Wall Street Apes. The left, hands off Venezuela, protests in New York City. Right, hands off Iran, protest happening now in New York City. Exact same signs, exact same chant. Both these protests funded and organized by the NGO, the People's Forum. People's Forum is a non-governmental organization that received over $20 million from a billionaire who lives in China with ties to the CCP. The NGO's primary funding, over $20 million, Neville Roy Singham. Singham's residence is Shanghai, business ties to the CCP, attends CCP-related events, and funds media outlets echoing Chinese state narratives. So, there you go. The Fu says, guys, Democrats aren't mad about Iran because they care so much about the Constitution. No, they're mad because Trump did it. They're mad that they can take no credit. They're mad that the world loves what Trump did, except Putin, of course. Oh, and some probably get Qatari money, so they're paid to be mad, but that's another post. Don't let them gaslight you about the Constitution, which their hero, Obama, called a barrier to what he wanted to accomplish more than once. Happy Sunday. Gad Sad says some of the supposed character flaws of real Donald Trump are precisely those that are needed to be a courageous and bold global leader. He is not beholden to the castrated political and academic classes, so he simply acts out of conviction the world owes him a big debt. Derek Evans reports that the Republican senators who are led by John Thune are using pro forma sessions to prevent President Trump from making recess appointments, with none approved since August of 2025. Ava Armstrong says this must be addressed immediately. Agreed. Netflix stock plunging at the market open following refusal to fire Obama's official Susan Rice after she threatened retribution against supporters of President Trump. We'll see how that goes. And I think the Netflix acquisition of Warner Brothers is dead now, too. We'll stay tuned on those updates. Mike Shelby reports Britain, France, and Germany have Muslim rape gangs that European governments allow to exist. Spare us your concern over fascism. To put this into perspective, at least 500,000 European women have been raped by Muslims over the past 10 years. That is an attack. That is an invasion. That's 136 women art at single day for 10 years. Yeah, fuck Iran, but if we considered regime change in Europe, CNN turned up in LA hoping Iranians would be mad at Trump, but they were forced to report joyous scenes in support for Trump.
Well, this gathering has only grown, Jessica, over the past few hours. Trickle from Reza Pahlavi has...
Anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you today. Thank you, everybody, for being here. A lot of news. We're going to have more updates today. Follow us in all the places. The New American Media. Please consider Rumble, Rants, and Super Chats. If you enjoyed your time here, you can tip us at any time. We do fuel our vehicle with your funds. So thank you for that. And subscribing, a monthly supporter on YouTube, Rumble, and Patreon. Those are easy ways to set it and forget it. And you know that you're supporting a program that does our best to give you a wide range of information on what's happening, trying to sift through the bullshit and give you some unique perspectives and try to have some fun along the way. So thank you all for being here. We'll plan on being back tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time. Lots of news going on, Marion, indeed. All right, everybody. Appreciate you being here on this super busy news day. We'll be back with more tomorrow. Until then, I appreciate you. I love you, and we'll talk to you again soon. Take care, everybody. Peace.
Your guide to the truth. TheNewAmericanMedia.com.